friends and enemies. Welcome to the second live broadcast here with my buddy and tribe mate Bushnak. We just got back from Wasteland Weekend 2019. What was that? 2 days ago, and we're ready to talk about it. We've had a little time to reflect. It was a very interesting event, and we're gonna dig right into this. How are you doing, Bush?
First off, we're not going to have enough time to talk about this. We're going to be talking about this event up until the new one comes up.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely I was gonna say it was definitely eventful, which is probably the worst way to describe an event. Um, yeah, I don't know. This was the 10th year that Wasteland Weekend has gone on. I should probably preface this by saying that Bushnak and I have been buds for a while now. We've both been attending Wasteland since 2013. We started the same year. And I think you joined our tribe, the Death Caps. Was that like the year after, or was that 2 years in?
I want to say it was 2014. Well, I believe what happened is I showed up to the event. It was right after my car blew up and I was kind of left abandoned on the side of the road, like some discarded garbage.
Oh, I
And then,
remember that.
and then when I showed up, I kind of really needed some pals to hang out with. And I saw that familiar hammer and sickle in the distance. And yeah, it was pretty much. I guess that's kind of how it started. Kind of came over, talked to you guys a bit, and what did we even do that year?
You know, that year is kind of a blur. Um, it's weird to think about. Like, we've been going this for 7 years now, which is a really long time. Um, and every year seemed like it topped itself. And I feel like what we used to think was like really crazy in comparison to what we do now was really mild. Like, yeah, it was so crazy. I wandered around till like 1 a.m. And like the stuff we do now and like the stuff we see now, I feel like is like way beyond anything we were doing when we first got started.
Yeah, I definitely didn't partake in as many things as I do in the event now. Hello, Samuel Johnston. Hello, Vespa.
Vespera Young Meadow.
Is that Fujio?
It's
Vespa.
Vespera Young Meadow.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got thrown off because I saw Vesper and I know that's Fujio's wasteland name. And I was like, ah, damn it. Hey, what's up?
I think that is them.
Wonderful.
I
Excellent.
know
Wunderbar.
I know you're very excited to see each other this year. But yeah, we've been going since 2013. The event itself has been going on for 10 years. So we came in, it had just changed its name from Road Warrior Weekend to Wasteland Weekend. And this is, I don't know, we've been together in a tribe, I guess, for like 6 years. And we've been in the city as a tribe for, is it 3 years or 2 years? This is the third year, right?
This is our third year in the town, yes.
And if you guys don't know, Wasteland Weekend is, of course, the biggest post-apocalyptic festival in SoCal. And there is an inner area and an outer area. So inside the city is where you have to be fully in theme at all times. And outside is kind of, the further out you get, the more general admission it is. So we've been in this main city with our fully themed gear for like 3 years. And it's kind of weird, like reflecting on it, because Wasteland is here in an instant and gone in a flash. Like it feels like we were simultaneously there for forever and yet there in like a blink of an eye. Like time really doesn't touch the place. And we spent probably, was this the longest you've spent at the event itself, Bushnak? Because I arrived early because they had you can arrive early to build your camp if you're approved. I arrived on Monday, or I arrived Sunday, and you arrived Monday this year. So we were there for like a full week.
Yeah, I left Sunday night right after work. Showed up at around. By the time I got the truck packed and ready to go, it was maybe about 3 or 4 a.m. And then I headed out. And then I got lost, literally lost in the middle of the desert. And then I showed up right as they started letting people in, about an hour beforehand, actually.
Yeah, so this is the longest we've ever spent there, like a straight week. And when we first started going, it was a 3-day festival back then. So they extended it now where it's 5, and then we spent even more time there. Um, it's like the year you're saying that you joined. I think the reason why I'm having trouble remembering like distinct things that happened is that was only a 3-day festival then. So a lot of the stuff we did was really condensed, and the city was way smaller than it is now. Like this year, the city was huge. Um, and there were 4,000 people there. It sold out completely, but simultaneously, it kind of felt like there was the least people there because the place was so big and expanded. Like there wasn't huge crowds gathered up at the stage shows and stuff. It was kind of strange, kind of surreal. Did you notice that, or was it just me?
No, there was definitely that element. I felt now I was before we started streaming this, I went ahead and I watched the previous video we did for our expectations, and it was mentioned in one of the years prior that everything was so clumped together that it felt like you had like no space at all at the event. This time I felt everything was kind of spaced too much, especially in the city.
I agree. I think the D's especially, it felt really distant. Every like our neighbors even kind of felt distant from us because like Bush said, it's true. We're used to kind of being all sequestered in one area close. And there were times when we were wandering around and we felt like the only people in the area. And 4,000 people in the desert sounds like a lot. And it is a lot, but when they're all spread out like that, it really doesn't feel like it. I think it's a good thing. Um, I don't know. Do you prefer it? I guess how it was, where it felt more condensed, or do you prefer it where it feels more empty?
A mix of both.
I'm still not completely sure. I'm kind of unpacking my feelings when it comes to that stuff. Vespera says the city was huge, but they cut the staging slash open area compared to last year. I don't know. I felt like the open area was like way bigger, like the city paths and stuff. Um, Bushnak, you should tell your idea of early arrival because it was weird. Like when we were going to arrive, and like I said, me and TJ arrived Sunday. We packed everything up, and I had a really weird feeling. It was strange. The week before going to the event, I was super excited. Um, like as excited as I was the first time going to Wasteland, which it hasn't been like that in a while. Last year, I actually almost like I didn't dread it, but I was really nervous. This year, I was like awaiting it like super eagerly, and then on the way there, I was very, very calm. Um, and it wasn't until you and some of the other tribe mates arrived that it really felt like Wasteland to me, and I got really excited again. It was really kind of strange. The drive there was pretty uneventful for us. Unfortunately, I think next year, if we do decide if we are allowed to arrive early again, I would prefer to arrive with a bigger group because me and TJ being there early, there wasn't a whole lot we could do with 2 people. And if you are planning on going to Wasteland and you have a large tribe or large setup that you get early approval for, make sure that you definitely assign enough people to do a task because arriving there early with not enough people to accomplish something, you're not really there early to party. Everybody's working to build things. Um, so you're kind of just sitting on your hands, or as we were struggling to put stuff together inefficiently with 2 people. So keep in mind when you come early, it is a privilege. You are there to build and not to party, and make sure you do have enough people arriving because we started really getting stuff done for camp when Bushnak and pals arrived.
Bushnak and pals. Wow,
You
that's my
like
favorite
that?
tribe in the whole event.
They're, they're scamps.
Mm. Um,
So tell us of your early arrival.
all right, my experience was a little kind of wacky when I showed up. First off, if I could provide some constructive criticism towards the event staff, or I guess how they did it early arrival this year, I was not a big fan of it. I kind of felt that they dropped the ball on the announcement like way too late. Um,
Oh,
but
you mean announcing the early arrival itself?
yeah, like by the time I heard, by the time they dropped the dates on when you could arrive and the rules and the ticket plans and all that, it was like what, a week from the event, maybe 2 weeks tops.
Yeah, if I didn't really explain before, they approve you if you are building within the city or you're building a large structure. They approve you before the event and they give you the early arrival dates, and you're allowed to set aside people in your camp, a set number of them to arrive. And this year they were running late. Last year, I believe it was about a month in advance that you could give your early arrival build crew notice. This year it was pretty down to the bar. Like Bushnak said, it was about a week, which that is short notice. I feel for getting people to get time off work and that sort of thing.
For me personally, I have to submit a time off request about 3 weeks in advance, and honestly, that's horseshit in itself. But that's besides the point. But if they've announced the early arrival a little earlier, huh, beforehand, I could have showed up Sunday and we could have made a little bit of headway before Monday.
I think that goes for a lot of people too, because the problem with tribes like ours, because not all of our tribe members are in California, having people make travel plans and stuff in advance like that and adding extra days. Um, I know staff did what they could, but it would be very helpful to get that stuff in advance just so people coming from out of state could prepare accordingly. Because, taking off time, additional days and stuff like that, it's kind of difficult for people with default jobs. Vespera says, no line for EA though. Yeah, I feel like physically the early arrival was a lot easier than other years. The ticket system they used easier. There was no line. Getting people in there was efficient. I think what Bushnak is just touching on is the only real complaint, the only one I can offer about early arrival as well, is that it was so short notice.
Yeah, when I actually arrived there, like I said, I got lost. I had a bit of a journey. By the time I hit California Boulevard or one of the roads up to there, my GPS for some reason just decided to completely whack out in the middle of the desert, and it couldn't find the route. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop my car here, see what I can get with reception on the phone, and then see if I can navigate here. And it led me to Castle Butt Road. Now, for anyone that goes there next year, if it directs you to this road, unless you literally want to die, don't take it because it's practically just sand, and I think it's like a dirt bike trail. And I was only able to
Oh
navigate
God.
it because I had a Ford like F-150 four-wheel drive truck, and even then I almost
Which
got stuck in a sand pit.
which luckily you got right before the event, because if you had your normal car, you would have been entrapped out there.
Well, even if I had my normal car, there would be no reason to even show up that early because I wouldn't be able to haul as much stuff as I could have. Unless you guys really needed the extra hands for the big stuff, but
Oh no,
I
sorry, I
kind
was taking a sip of Gatorade. I wasn't being silent. I was taking a sip to clear my throat. I wasn't like
of, it's
crossing
cool.
my arms about it.
You're like, oh, you wouldn't help us regardless.
So Castle Butt Road to avoid.
Yeah, Castlebot Road is complete absolute hell. But once I got off that particular road, it dropped me off right in front of the entrance that they had for the event, and I was actually the first one in line.
At like 7, I think. I went to bed early the night before, and I remember I woke up to like I heard the truck pull up and then like cartoonish like sound effects of footsteps and you being like, TJ Taylor. And I was like, oh man, like it was nice. It made it feel like Wasteland officially started. It reminded me of my like first or second year arriving, where you know that Wasteland's like really starting when your friends get there. Cause
Oh
all
yeah.
the like all the events and stuff there, like there's a lot of videos floating around of the event where I feel like they don't accurately represent what the event really is. Um like there's stage shows, there's bands that play, and there is like a market where you can buy things, but that's not the only attraction there. A lot of the main attraction really is like what the attendees bring, because everybody's a participant. There's no looky-loos allowed. So all these different camps that are just attendees like yourself bring these different attractions, different shows and stuff, and outside camps. And that's really like the biggest part of Wasteland is just everybody arriving because they all bring something different. And I personally think that's more exciting. The stage shows were great and stuff this year, but I feel like we bypassed a lot of those just to spend time with friends and watch the stuff that they were kind of creating in their own camps.
Very true. I was talking about it with Eric, and he's like, we're kind of walking down Main Street, and he was like, there's all this really cool stuff here at the event, but I kind of feel that the best experiences are like the shenanigans you get into with your group.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
and if
oh yeah, sure.
and Eric is going to be featured heavily in the latest 2019 video, which is being edited now. He was Bushnak's longtime friend that was introduced to the event this year. This was the first Wasteland event he's ever been to, and he was an initiate into our tribe. So there's a lot of footage of him experiencing stuff for the first time and seeing all the wacky shenanigans we get into. It was honestly nice to spend like the 10th year with somebody new like that. Um, kind of, I think as you put it, you said like seeing like the spark in his eyes as he saw all that stuff. Like it really kind of took me back to our first year.
Yeah, that's why we had to take him to the D's. He was like kind of like in awe over like the entire structure, and he's like, "Can we go check it out?" And I'm like, "You know what? I've actually haven't been there myself. Let's go. Let's go take a look." And I'm actually really glad we did, considering that they tore the whole thing down.
Yeah, I that was kind of unexpected. We did get some good footage there. Uh the D's, if you guys don't know, it's a large ship that's kind of been a big fixture as far as Wasteland. It's right by the stage. It's kind of by the pit. It's always been right adjacent to our camp, so it's in a lot of the old footage. It's a big ship. You can't miss it. They host a swimsuit contest to top it. A tribe called, well, the Disciples of the D's camps there. Our tribe mate, Team Rocket, is also a tribe mate of theirs. She's we have split custody of her, and the D's is the actual Exxon Valdez that was used in Waterworld. Um, some of the local wastelanders, Paul Miller, who's a great guy, he was offered to buy this ship for like $1. It had been stored somewhere out in the desert. It had been out of use since it had been used for filming in the movie, and he purchased it. He with the help of his tribe, cut it up. They made it a little smaller and they brought it to Wasteland. And it had been coming to Wasteland for several years. It was very striking. It's in a lot of photos. Very, very cool. You climb atop it. And this was its last year. They didn't really announce anything about it. I can see why they wouldn't want to. But I guess after this, the D's is not returning because I think it was expensive to store, and I guess also it was kind of falling apart. So unfortunately, uh, if you miss this year at Wasteland, you miss the D's final year.
Yeah, and we found out when they were tearing it apart then and there, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think that's the way they normally disassemble that thing.
Yeah, it looked because we've seen it go up and we've seen it get taken apart at all these events. It's probably been going for about, what would you say, like 4 years? I don't know how long it had been coming to Wasteland. It feels like it had been coming forever, but yeah, it was very bare bones when they were ripping it apart. So we all kind of feared the worst. And they made the official announcement today. Paul did, that the D's will not be returning, unfortunately.
I actually had a
So
tear when I
RIP.
fucking read that.
Me too, because like it's so strange that you said you had never actually like seen it. I hadn't either. I had never gone inside of it. I had only viewed it from the outside. I had walked up to like its stage before, but I'd never gone inside. And then of course this is the year we really got to kind of learn more about it and see it. And it's a weird feeling knowing that it's not coming back. I'm really gonna miss it. Seeing all the pictures of it and stuff really kind of brought a tear to my eye as well.
I'm actually really glad like Eric's curiosity like kind of like drove me to get him to check it out, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of feels like fate. So thanks, Eric, for having us go explore that thing because we will sadly never get the chance again. And thanks to the Disciple of the D's for always bringing that out to Wasteland. It will truly not be the same event without it.
Did you see one of the gifts I got at the wedding?
No.
Nah, Chris Fanning, he must have knew what was up because he had a piece of the D's and he gave me a piece of the boat.
What a great gift.
And I was like, "Oh wow, this is pretty cool. Thanks." And like I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of an interesting gift." Because the D's is something I expected to see forever, and then now that it's not going to be around, the fact that they have a piece of history, it's really sentimental.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is like that's a cool gift on its own, but just now with that, that's a major part of Wasteland history you got there. It's a very thoughtful gift.
It is. It is. I'll bring it over when I see you guys on Friday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Man, I'm trying not to get like emotional about it right now. um yeah, so RIP to the D's. It was this year at Wasteland there was a lot of strange stuff like that. I've been hearing a lot of intense things about the event. Um it's still fresh right now. Like I said, it's kind of I've actually these past 2 days I've been waking up and feeling like I'm still there. Um like yesterday morning, I woke up and I actually was like confused for a moment. Like I didn't know where I was. I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't my camp. And then like it took a minute for like reality to set in. And I felt the same way today. Like I still haven't totally crossed over into the default world, but there was a strange feeling of change about this wasteland. Probably because of the cryptic message that was posted about right before we left. A lot of people were asking in the comments what that message was about, and if because there was supposed to be a huge announcement on Saturday night. I just want to get this out of the way real quick. There was going to be a important message about the future of Wasteland that was going to happen on Saturday night at 12. I wasn't present for it. I have talked to people who were there. It wasn't really an official announcement, so everybody asking for an update on that. I don't really have a great one for you. Jared went up. He said, "We don't know if Wasteland's going to be around for another 10 years." And then he said something like, "I'm not sure if I will be anyway," possibly implying that he might not always be involved with the Wasteland. But it was still very cryptic. There was nothing really official, so I don't really have anything official to tell you guys. Um, but this whole event I feel like was kind of colored by that, where there was this strange sense of a shift, I guess, in the community. Did you feel that, Bush? I know that you really had a big shift in your life because you were got married this wasteland.
Yes. And I want to thank Fujio in the chat for congratulating me as well. Thank you. Um, yeah, you know, it's kind of weird because, yes, I did get married at the event at around 3 p.m. on Thursday. And it's strange because back when I started coming to the event back in 2013, it's, you know, you don't expect to get like, I wasn't planning to get married at the event ever. it was honestly just like a spontaneous idea that I had, and
Mhm.
yeah, I just kind of was like, I was just, we were hanging out right after we got engaged, and then my wife hits me up and she's like, hey, well, now that we're engaged, where do you plan on getting married? What do you want to do? Like, we started talking about it. And like, it literally hit me the moment she asked me the question. I'm like, oh, let's get married at Wasteland. And then she instantly agreed, and we just kind of took it from there. And yeah, it's wow, it's a really weird kind of surreal feeling. I'm still kind of like taking in all the details and bits, because just this entire weekend we had was absolutely magical, from the moment I got there to the wedding to just hanging out with you guys and just having probably the best wasteland I've ever had, to be honest. Which is sad because I see a lot of like, I don't know what it is about this year, but I see a lot of like really upset and angsty and angry threads and comments on the Wastelander Central page lately.
Yeah, same. I feel bad about that too because I share your sentiment. I feel like this is, and like I said, it's fresh. So, maybe when there's some distance, but I'm pretty certain this is my best, most favorite wasteland I think I've ever attended. Um, it's funny, like, does it feel weird to say your wife now?
Yeah, I kind of like wince when I say it because I'm still like absorbing everything, I guess.
Yeah,
About
like
the
it
shift
was
though. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say about the shift though, regarding like the change, and that little cryptic message and the announcement that Jared and Adam had at the event. I'm gonna be kind of frank and honest with you guys here. It kind of has me worried for the future of Wasteland, and it brings me back to something I've actually always said, honestly, since like my second year going in. And it's like, I have a feeling this is not going to be here forever, in its current state. Nothing is ever permanent. And
Hmm.
because of that reason, it's important that we try to avoid burnout as much as we can, and while we're there, enjoy the event to its fullest, absolute fullest.
I absolutely agree with that. I think we've talked about it before, but I think the main reason for burnout is people overextending themselves. We're not all Leah. We can't all do a million things um, at Wasteland and still stay passionate about it. I think it becomes less fun for people, particularly when they get entrenched in the online community a little too much. I know it's ironic. We're talking on a post apocalyptic centric channel, but it's important to have other passions and it's important to not get caught up in internet politics. It's important not to close yourself off because of the Facebook community in particular. There's a lot of negativity there. Uh, it's a week out of a year, and a lot of people spending that entire year online. They get very protective of it, and because of that, it doesn't always show their best character. I think we're all guilty of it to some degree. I definitely tried to bury the hatchet with some people at the event uh, who I guess had a negative opinion of me, like online, because life is too short to be pissed off at someone based on a meme. Like I wasn't afraid to approach them. Like I think that two of them sent me friend requests, two out of two, so I guess it's okay now. Um, but it's important to not isolate yourself off like that and to still treat it as something you look forward to keep the passion alive and not sweat the small stuff in that way. Life is really too short for it. And like Bush said, any wasteland can be the last wasteland. You got to treat it that way. We basically have a hard rule now at camp that we were both enforcing, um, where, and this comes from Boss Cap, who gave me this advice. There's no talk of next year while you're at the current year's event, because you've already worked hard for that year. You got to enjoy it while it's there and not keep talking about next year I'm going to do this, next year I'm going to do that. A, there may not be a next year, and B, you want to actually enjoy the hard work that you've done without feeling like you could have done better or you will do better next year.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it. I'm guilty of that as well. Just because, as a person, I always like to try to self improve on my projects and the stuff I do. So I set something up and I'm like, okay, it looks good now, but what if I did this? That's just a personal issue I have.
I think also like you should, if you're a person that values like, we have a pretty big tribe and we have a presence in the city, so we're always looking for ways to improve the tribe, improve camp in particular. So it's important to learn things, if that's something that you value. Maybe you're just a general admissions camper and you're just there to have a good time. But um Bushnak and I don't want to speak for you, but I think that we both share this. We really value the immersion of the event. So I think it is important to kind of pay attention to things like that, take note of it, but maybe not, try not to talk about it at the event because it will take you out of it. Like Bush and I took a moment to wander around the outer city and we saw some cool lighting options and stuff. We definitely, I think, got ideas for camp just by, experiencing it and being observant of other camps and stuff. But I don't know. I think we were pretty good this year about not quoting next year too much.
I want to take a look here and respond to the comments. Samuel, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Yes, Samuel says, I think I can actually get this on screen. Yes, I can. I love his avatar.
I
I
don't.
hope there is enough years until I'm actually old enough to go. I'm just a little kid waiting until I'm old enough for Wasteland Weekend.
Because if
That's the
he's
live
like,
action Sonic.
hell yeah. Now, if he's like, I'm 12, I'm like, son, by the time you go, Gap and Taco Bell are going to own this company.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
sad.
hopefully. Well, I've heard them say before, and this isn't something I heard in person. One of the staff posted online publicly something like that they had been offered sponsorships, that they had been offered amounts of money for the event, and they had turned them all down because all the investors wanted to make demands that wouldn't make Wasteland Wasteland. So I do feel like they have the best interests at heart. I do think that there is, money talks. I do think they're getting a lot of offers, but I really appreciate them. Up until now, watch next year. Everything changes and I look like a jackass. But I appreciate it up until now, them staying true to the event. Um,
What do you think? What changes do you think were asked of them that would not make it Wasteland? That's got me curious to
uh,
know.
what do I think investors were asking?
Yeah.
Okay, I can think of instant things. I can think of probably one of the main demands would be to make it an all age event. Um,
Oh
Believe it or not, Burning Man is
no.
an all age event. Like, I'm sure that that is a major thing. I could also see them making the demand that alcohol not be served,
Oh
because
no.
that would really like open things up. And I could also see them doing like a ticket price increase. And that is the only thing that really kind of frightens me for the future of the event is I've been told, or I've seen them post online before, that the ticket prices will continue to increase naturally due to some insurance thing. I don't really understand those things, so I can't speculate. But there will be a point where if the price is like $400, that's going to be incredibly difficult for someone low income like myself to attend the event. So I really hope that they never do that.
Ugh. Wasteland Weekend, now sponsored by Mountain Dew, Banana Republic, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Pre-order your tickets now. Must be 12 must be age 12 or older to attend the event.
Oh my god. Teal said 2 hours of holding down a shade structure was no fun. Yeah, we're gonna touch upon that, but yeah, that just covering the announcement. Um, there was no actual official announcement, really, I guess. Um, so we're just speculating about what the future could possibly hold. It is a common theory that they are going to be hosting other events at their site. Um, it's not H Park anymore. I don't know the official name of the land that they own. Um, I was hoping, and they didn't, that they would make an announcement regarding the Cyberpunk event. Do you have any opinion on that or no? Are you not excited about the Cyberpunk event?
Sorry, I didn't like. I didn't reply immediately
Were you
because I'm.
reading that comment? Because I was.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to that particular comment. Nah, like I'm having a mixed bag of emotions regarding the cyberpunk. I got to invest into a completely new costume and persona, and that takes a lot out of you. Um, B, I don't know what to expect. I mean, if it's gonna be on the same event sites, and it's like cyberpunk, giant skyscrapers and cities, and holographic assholes everywhere, you really can't do that.
Literally, because that would be the best event of all time. Welcome to the Leather Cheerio.
The what?
The Leather Cheerio.
The leather Cheerio.
Yes.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
That's what Pig from the Pugs referred to. He called a butthole a leather Cheerio, and I thought I was going to die of laughter.
Oh my god, I've pictured that in my mind. It's not a good thing.
Sorry, 12-year-old.
Um,
Um, yeah, I mean, the limitation really is the desert setting. I don't know. As far as making a new persona and stuff, I do think this let me read this comment real quick because it's going to feed into what I was going to say. The Static Machine number 2 says sci-fi and cyberpunk. Desert Planet Outpost is what they've said before. It won't be the full cyberpunk experience a lot of people are imagining. Um yeah, that being said though, do we just want to be like hanging out on Tatooine for a week? I don't know. Um it's all going to be about what people bring to it, just like Wasteland anyway. Um, and the problem that's going to happen, I speculate, is that, like we were saying about Wasteland, a lot of the stuff that makes Wasteland is brought by tribes, which are basically attendees. You know, they're not staff, um, and they bring a lot to the table. And a lot of those tribes from Wasteland are having big plans for this cyberpunk event, but it's a very big investment um, as a tribe to be like, okay, we're going to make an entirely new camp. Like the money that the Death Caps have dropped on making our camp with our military tents and stuff, and then not being able to use them at the cyberpunk camp. Um, that's going to be like a crazy investment, like for us to build something. It's exciting to be like, oh, we're going to build something from the ground up, but it's going to limit us for a while, I think. um we're kind of talking about possibly like forming a new tribe and stuff. Obviously it won't be like it's the cyber death caps, will be a different thing, but I think for the first year, and Bush, I think you and I talked about this a little bit, the first year we'll probably experience that event, if we are able to go to it, as basic attendees. I don't think we're going to be bringing a huge camp or anything to the table right away.
yeah, I was gonna actually mention the same thing. Real quick here, I do want to welcome both Fahrenheit and Rodent to the chat and the live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight on this glorious Tuesday morning.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. I do want to attend it just as a regular, some regular fucking walnut, and just kind of see what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree. I think before we make the investment, I don't know how much tickets will be. I don't know. there's not a whole lot of official announcements about the event yet. I don't really know what to expect. I do think we have a killer tribe concept, or faction, whatever they're going to call it. I just don't know if we can execute it right away or put in the money to execute it until we're completely certain that this is something we're going to be passionate about. Wasteland is one of those things where everybody in our tribe is really passionate about the post-apocalyptic genre. We all kind of bonded over that. Cyberpunk, not so much. I do like the cyberpunk aesthetic. I don't love it. Like, I like post-apocalyptic stuff. And I feel like the hashtag Zenith, yes, exactly, Zenith. Evolve. That's our concept. But I feel like the post-apocalyptic aesthetic as far as costume making is very forgiving and very open for new people. The cyberpunk aesthetic is a lot more complex. I feel like it's a lot more advanced as far as costuming. Like, me and Bushnak, well, Bushnak in particular, helped Eric, our newbie, get a costume in like a weekend, and it looked passable and it looked good. That seems a lot harder to do with a cyberpunk aesthetic to me.
Literally, Wasteland costuming 101 is, here are some clothes I stole out of a dumpster. I'm gonna rub my asshole on them and some asphalt, and I'm good to go. Like, if you want to be
Leather Cheerio, Bushnak.
yes, leather fucking Cheerio with some frosted flakes.
Ew, no.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the costuming aesthetic goes, it could be that we just had a lot of time in particular to like perfect our craft.
We've had 7 years.
We have 7 years of making new shit look like old shit.
7 years of buying a nice new jacket and then tearing it to rat shit and staining it so it looks like it's been dirty for like a century.
Hey, at least we've actually done something within that time, compared to some people who are like, I love Wasteland, I'm gonna do this, and they say the same thing every week and they never actually do anything.
Yeah, or they just never mind.
Yeah,
I almost outed someone.
you almost threw them under the bus, Taylor.
Yeah, you can't make some. That's another thing about Wasteland too. I know we talked earlier about people having a negative experience. I saw somebody post. I'm not gonna read their post directly. I'm just gonna reference it. I don't want to put them on blast, but I saw somebody post something like, "Oh, I left Wasteland totally friendless. I didn't meet anybody," and they admitted like, "I didn't really leave camp because the weather was bad and I didn't have a good time." And like, here's the thing, I get social anxiety because I have that. I get the weather being bad. We all went through that, but one thing you got to know is that, and you'll see in the video that I'm going to post later. Spoiler alert: there was a huge dust storm this year that literally lasted an entire day. As far as the heat, and there will be heat. You're in a desert. It wasn't too bad, but that dust storm was insane. If you're going to Wasteland and you're only going to go out and explore when there is good weather, when it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too dusty, you will never leave camp. It's a part of the event itself at this point. Yes, it sucks. Nobody wants to be in a dust storm for an entire day. But if you want to actually experience the event, you're going to have to get over that shit. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's never going to be the perfect temperature. You're never going to be totally comfortable. It's harsh conditions. It'll make you feel like you're in the real apocalypse. All you can really do is prepare for it. Bring a mask, bring some goggles. And if you want to explore, put that shit on and go out. Because in the end, you're going to get the experience that you want. If you go in thinking you're going to have a bad time, you're not going to meet anybody. You're going to have a bad time, not going to meet anybody. The event is what you make it. Is it miserable being in a dust storm? Yes, absolutely. But you can make it fun by being with your friends or saying fuck it and going out and exploring. if you're like, oh no, I didn't mean anybody because I didn't leave camp. Yeah, because you didn't leave camp. You're gonna have to at some point realize that you make the experience that you want. I'm super shy. I had Bushnak to pal around with me and meet people. We had a fucking amazing time. Um, if you want it, you just have to kind of go out and get it because you're gonna shape your own adventure.
I have two things I want to cut in with. First off, if you go to Wasteland and you don't have one shitty day due to hot weather or extremely like windy weather, you have not experienced Wasteland. You're out in the middle of nowhere, post-apocalyptic themed. You're gonna experience extreme weather in one way or another, either super cold, super hot, or super windy. If that's enough to like bother you and to like freak you out, this is probably not the environment for you. You may want to stick to that SD Comic Con giant, air conditioned building. And I don't mean to sound like a gatekeeper or anything. I'm just being frank with you. Besides, if that's not really your style, why are you going to even bother putting yourself in a position where you're going to be uncomfortable and like hate the event? Now, point
Yeah,
two
you're
that,
gonna have a bad time.
and I want to cut in with this real quick before I forget. And that thread you mentioned where the guy's like, I left Wasteland. I had no friends. I met no one. That guy is a fucking asshole. And he's a fucking asshole because in a previous thread, he admitted to abandoning his friend at the event. He even took their car
Ooh.
keys.
That was that guy?
That was that guy.
You guys, if you leave someone there, you're leaving them for dead. You cannot leave someone at a desert completely stranded like that and just hope they find a ride.
That guy, complete bastard. I'm gonna remember his stupid face and his stupid name, so that if he comes around at our camp next year and is like, "Guys, I need like help," or let's hang out. I'm gonna be like, "No, fucking take your shoes, turn them 160 fucking degrees, and fuck out of that door."
I hope you guys realize that too. There is a rideshare program, and if you volunteer to take someone to the event, please make sure they have a ride back. And also don't leave somebody out of spite because you didn't like them. Find them a ride or something because if you leave them out there, you are leaving them for dead. That is the middle of nowhere that you just stranded that person.
I think the guy's like really shitty excuses, like, "Oh, I had to do something really important like Sunday afternoon or Sunday night." All right, I'm gonna also like bring this up to newcomers who may be coming to the event. If you're gonna come to Wasteland and you're planning on leaving Sunday, make sure your whole schedule for that day and night is clear because you have no idea what's
Yes.
gonna happen. You're not gonna know. Un- always plan for the unpredictable. We had a buddy that camped with us last year. I don't mean to throw him under the bus
Mhm.
here, but I just want to bring out a relatable story for you guys to hear.
It's a good example.
Um, Apparently he had to like pay bills or pay rent or do something really important like that Sunday afternoon, like at 3 o'clock. And this guy was carrying a decent amount of stuff that I made for the tribe's decorations, like props, weapons, and other gear. He wanted to leave ASAP so he can get this stuff done. Um, didn't really want to stay to help tear down, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. And when we kind of urged him, like, "Hey, check it out! You signed up for this. We come together as a tribe. We leave together as a tribe." There was a lot of issues, and I feel like he took it like out personally on me, which was honestly kind of shitty. So make sure if you got bills to pay and stuff to do, most like people that you can pay your rent through, landlords, apartments, managers, that kind of stuff. You should be able to organize something with them ahead of time, so you're not stuck doing something that day.
Yeah, definitely prepare for the unexpected, especially if you're taking on a responsibility. as a part of a tribe, because being a part of a tribe means that there are shared responsibilities. Teardown doesn't always go as you expect. It could take way longer than you expect. The weather could be bad. You could get caught up in a dust storm. Shit happens. So if you're like, I have a hard out by 3, please make sure you don't have the responsibility of like hauling a bunch of the camp with you. And Teal says, so Taylor, you're saying pack out what you pack in. Yes, and that includes people. And Rodent said, guess who started the rideshare group? 2 thumbs up. Well, thank you, Rodent. That's a very needed group. And if you're looking for a ride to Wasteland, you should join it. But yeah, make sure that if you have those responsibilities, they are taken care of. Because you're putting yourself in a position of failure when you give yourself only one way out of a situation. Wasteland is about a week long, give or take. And you should definitely, if you are able, take off maybe an additional day so that you'll be able to unpack and everything. You'll be able to recover. You might also even get sick from the event. There's a lot of dust in the air in general. If your body's not used to that, you do get kind of beat down by the sun. Unpredictable stuff happens. And if an emergency comes up, just make sure you communicate it clearly. Like if an emergency came up, he could have communicated in case of that example that guy needed a ride and helped find him an alternative, solution. Or maybe just brought him back earlier or brought him to a different place. But like, don't leave somebody in that kind of position. Don't volunteer for somebody to be dependent on you and then leave them hanging, which should go unsaid, really.
I mean, none of us are part of staff here. We're just like 2 like very well seasoned veteran attendees at the event. It's really shitty what that guy did, and this might sound kind of a dick thing coming from me, but I think that guy should be barred from attending future events just so they can prevent him from doing that to someone else. If that's
Gee, I wonder why I made no friends.
I wonder why I made no friends. Maybe because I abandoned my only one in the fucking sand. What a fucking prick. Can you believe this guy?
And that's happened multiple times. There's like you hear about that once in a while and it's just kind of crazy. Like, please don't leave somebody for dead out in the desert. Come on now. Another thing I want to mention, I don't want to get too deep into this, is Wasteland is a very safe place overall. The security team and the medical team are great. They're on it when they're informed, of course. Kudos to them. Overall, it's very safe. We haven't had any major incidents. There is theft once in a while. You should be wary of that. It's a place with 4,000 people. Not everybody's going to be an angel. And you get a large group of people, stuff's going to happen. Just naturally, people are people, whether they're Wastelanders or not. It's kind of amazing that there's that many people and so many of them are great people. And we do keep each other in check. It's a very tight-knit community. That being said, please be wise with your friends. I don't recommend, especially if you like partake of alcohol, to wander alone. There were some cases. I want to say there's some cases this year, but there's really cases every single year of incidents of safety and drunk people being taken advantage of in various ways. If your friend is not in a good way, don't just ditch them at a random camp or like let them wander and assume they're going to find their way back. Like, try not to leave them. Not to be sexist, especially if you're a woman. Don't leave your fellow chick just like chilling at a stranger's camp, please. It should go unsaid. I know that it's messed up that we even have to worry about those kind of things. But that being said, don't abandon people at the event in any case. Keep your wits about you. Don't take drinks from strangers' drinks. Be around trusted friends at these events, just like you would in your normal life.
Yeah, if you're going to be accepting drinks from people at the event, try to accept them from either friends or established tribes.
Yeah, definitely. And if your friend is looking tipsy, don't just wander off because you want to go to bed and they're staying out too late. It's a shitty thing to do. Um, I know it can be difficult when you are responsible for another adult, but don't leave them hanging. I really have to cough.
Coughing up some
Teal
of
says,
that
"Yeah,
desert sand, huh?
yeah, that lung butter. Yeah, we got swept up in a pretty good duster. Teal says it went on for 6 hours. I guess that's about right. It felt like a really long time, but there was a famous dust storm years ago in was that in 2015 or 2016? The Great Duster.
I want to say 2016.
And that one went down in history, and that one was intense. There were warnings about it in everybody's cell phones, but it was very short. It was very brief. You couldn't really see in front of you. Um, it was definitely a bonding moment. This one wasn't as strong. However, it went on for 6 hours. I feel like even longer than that. Um, and like Bush said, if those are the moments that kind of make you realize if you're a wastelander or not, if this is something that you're going to kind of be a lifer doing. Um, there were a lot of like new people asking the age old question of like, is it always like this? And like, no, it's not, but it always could be. It'll always have the potential of being really hot or really dusty, one or the other. It's kind of a part of the event. And yeah, it's it's not fun for anyone, but it's a part of the wasteland experience.
So to kind of derail here for a moment, how many of your not expeditions, expectations or predictions came true for this year's event?
Well, um, I think I need to rewatch the video first of all. Teal says the gusts are pretty bad this year. Yes, they were. There wasn't rain. Apparently, it rained here in California and around LA and stuff. So there was rain, just not in the desert where we were. It was overcast one of the days, and it was really, really nice. Probably the nicest weather we've ever had at Wasteland. Um, so that one was close to being true. I don't remember all of my main predictions. I feel like most of the excitement was outside of the main gates this year, which was kind of to be expected. Um, did you have any main ones you can think of that were like instantly true or instantly false?
Yes, I actually did watch our video again right before we started stream. But the first thing I want to do is I actually legitimately want to apologize to everyone in the entire community. Um, I put out a weather prediction, and it was a very trolly one. I said, for the majority of the event, it's going to be nothing but wind, and it's going to be terrible, and we're all going to be
Thanks a
miserable.
lot.
I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean it. I didn't think what I said would come true.
Yeah, thanks for that. That was great.
I
So
wish
we can
the
blame you
rain.
for this.
You can blame me. I did my little rain dance, I guess, and it became a wind dance. Summon the gust. And I got really mad. And here's the thing, it's okay to get mad and upset during these very, very trifled times at the event. For
We all
example,
expected to be saying harsh words to each other.
our main structure at the front is a decontamination tent unit that I set up to kind of emulate the division. And since we're like a scientific slash mercenary tribe, or at least you're supposed to be the sciencey part of it regarding like mushroom and spore research, I thought it'd be fitting for us to keep the radiation and like the weird viruses outside of the camp by having like a decontent with UV lighting and a bunch of other kind of cool gadgety stuff when you enter and leave the camp. And it actually turned out really well. However, this year we had a pretty large gap of just open space in front of our camp, and that really caused us to like take the punishment for wind. and it was so bad that the T-posts and the rebar started getting bent. The ones that were holding together this tent. I tried cutting holes in the actual tent too to try to get some wind through it. Didn't help whatsoever. And
This
like,
was on Friday, I believe.
yeah, it was on Friday. And if
Oh
there's
no,
any video,
Saturday.
yes, it was Saturday. Yes, it was Saturday. And I don't know if
This
any
is
of
the
it's
last
caught
big
on video,
day.
but like, you could like, if there's any video, you'll hear me just explicitly just cursing left and right. I'm like, fucking thing sucks. We're doing it live. Just trying to keep this thing together. And I had a really, I was really mad at the time, but I guess everyone else thought it was hilarious. But there was this moment where my wife, I'm getting sand everywhere, and I have these goggles on. At this point, they're not really helping. So I take off the goggles, and I'm just like, this sucks, and I just put it in my pocket for now. And then my wife comes up to me and she's like, "Baby, put your goggles on. You're gonna get sand in your eyes." I'm like, "Sand in my eyes? Sand in my eyes? There's fucking sand everywhere. There's sand in my mouth. There's sand in my fucking nose. There's even sand in my goddamn asshole." And I took the goggles out of my pocket and just threw them on the floor.
That was when I lost it. Oh my god. I had to like turn away. Because it
Uh,
just perfectly summarized like everything that was happening. It
Babe,
actually lightened the mood though.
put goggles on. You're gonna get sand in your sand in my eyes.
Everybody was getting destroyed. Like the worst part was is that it like touched down um within I guess like the main gate area of Wasteland. So everybody in that gated area's camps got trashed. The War Boys, the Citadel held up, but our buddies over at Wrecking Crew, I guess it whipped through their camp and like demolished everything. Um it was it was pretty bad. There was a lot of casualties, and I remember after it kind of like calmed down, walking out there and just looking in the sand, just finding like random pieces of camps, like random zip ties, random like pieces of tape, just like half buried.
There was like
It was
body
pretty
parts
sad.
sticking out. There was like a hand out of the dirt. It was
It
fucked
was
up.
absolutely insane. I really want to make like a good time lapse video because there's footage of us all hunkered down inside the temper tent, because the temper tent we have, it's military, it held up in the wind, it was strong. Our kitchen also got jacked up, so that unfortunately the decon tent and the kitchen tent both got they took a lot of the brunt, but the temper tent held up well. And because of that, we had a lot of people hunkered down inside from other tribes with us. So there's footage of us hunkered down in there and our morale just slowly getting drained away. Like we went from being zany and playing like music on a ukulele to like strangers passed out together, just exhausted from the wind, to like Bushnak just rambling to himself in like a high-pitched Mickey Mouse voice. Like you just see like our like fall from sanity in the course of like a couple hours.
Wait, what was I rambling about?
Well, the stage started doing a test at one point, and somebody was like trying to do some kind of scream, and I think you started imitating the scream on loop for a while. And then you went into some kind of Mario spiel.
Oh goodness.
There's
Yeah.
a clip that Gracie sent me of you, and like you seem like an insane like a desert wizard hobo, because just you sitting in the chair just making sounds.
Yeah, I wasn't doing too well. I think I just lost the content and like I shoved it in a trash bag and just angrily
Oh
sat there.
no. What are we gonna do? So okay, TJ asked about that. He's like, should we keep the PVC, or like are we gonna rebuild this thing? Like, do you want to rebuild the decon tent? Was this its last year? What do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. I want you to be legit honest with me on stream. Like, break my fucking heart right here if you have to. Okay.
Okay.
You're like, I don't know if I'm prepared for this, but all right.
I'm thinking about the grilled cheese hut right now, and I know I can do it. We'll
um.
touch upon that later.
Oh god, you really want to bring that up on stream?
Yeah, in a bit. I have more to
Okay.
say.
Oof. All right. All right. Okay. Did the decontent, in your opinion, looked even good for the camp to begin with, or was it kind of random and not very fitting?
I thought it looked really neat. It was cool at night. I noticed a lot of people were really intrigued by it. And a lot of people were coming in and interacting with it, which was great. I do think if it comes back, we should possibly get it a metal frame, just so this doesn't repeat. But I like the visual of it. I thought it was really cool. Um, Obviously, people were intrigued and stuff, so people knew it was recognizable. It was a good beacon for camp. Um, like I said, with the black lights, especially at night, it looked very cool. I was disappointed we didn't put up the red lights. I have three regrets at Wasteland this year, and one of them is that we didn't put up those red lights, because if we would have the red lights up around camp at night and then that purple decontamination hut, I think it would have looked really fucking cool. Um, and I didn't even know that we had the red lights. TJ told me. I'm like, why the fuck didn't we put them up then? Um, so I don't know. I think we were just understaffed when we first started and we never got around to it. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I think
Um,
the
but yeah,
solar lights. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
oh no, go ahead. Yeah, the solar lights were we did have a lighting problem. I don't know if it's because the solar panels got dirty. I don't know what was going on, but we had a ton of lights this year and a lot of them were not working as planned. So I think we just got demoralized handling that. Um, that was one of the things that like was not successful at camp. But I thought the decontamination hut was successful up until it got completely demolished by the devil wind.
Okay. Then with that, I'm probably gonna like stick with it. If I mean, I don't think anyone else has ever objected to it in the camp. I'll see what other people say, but if it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, we should keep doing it, I'll still keep it and invest into it. But if the large majority of the people in the camp are like, oh, it's fucking stupid, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is fucking dumb. Maybe I'll just join the Blood Runners again and then leave.
Nobody's gonna understand that.
No, no, no one at all. Yeah, literally no one. Um, okay, I guess I'll keep it and we'll continue investing into it. But yes, a metal frame would be probably better for it. But our good friend Almost Patton had a brilliant idea for the decontent.
What was that?
He said instead of having a tarp-like material to cover over the tent, we switched to yellow camel netting of the same size.
It's not a bad idea.
Because then we
I
would
was
have
wondering,
it would be open and the air could flow through it.
yeah, I think it would prevent it from getting tossed around, which is good. We can talk about it Friday when we all meet up in person, because I just thought about one of the things we were talking about this year, and this isn't a bad thing, but we had a lot of visitors this year. We had a sign out front that said, "Come on in, comrade," and the other side said no. So we would flip it around. We didn't want visitors. However, people just kept coming into camp regardless of what the sign said. I think because the sign wasn't propped up properly, we didn't block the entrance with it. I noticed a lot of people they block the entrance with their sign when they don't want people coming in. We just had it saying like no visitors, but it was off to the side. I like having visitors and everything. However, there are moments where we want to be private. There are moments where you don't want strangers coming into camp. And one of the solutions we talked about for that was possibly having an actual door. Um, we can talk about that further in person because I don't want to get too spoilery here. But next year we could possibly have a door similar to that of the Sunken region or something like that that latches just to prevent people coming into camp. We did have a theft scare, so that would also help prevent that. And we could possibly have the decontamination hut inside. after the door, and that might also like be really cool and immersive. Like, say if you're coming into our camp to retrieve a mushroom spore to spread to another camp, if you walk through there and then you immediately see the decontamination hut, or that you have to go through to be cleansed to get into camp, it'd be a good way to immerse people trying to get involved in lore stuff, and also a way to keep strangers from coming into our tent and falling asleep on the floor.
Yes. I do have a couple ideas for that as well, in case for some reason we can't invest or afford a door type setting. I was thinking of a standard wooden road sign, but long enough to block off the entrance.
Hmm. Yeah, just anything, to block off that area, I think. Um, like I said, it's nice to have an open camp like that and stuff, but you do want, you don't want it to always be open. You want your privacy at some point. And I think we were a little lax about that. The sign apparently was not enough.
Is it me, or did it seem like we kept getting the most visitors during times of turmoil?
Yes, that was one thing I wanted to talk about too. It's funny now in hindsight, but boy, was I mad during the moment. Um, Let me start off by saying I think the faceless merchants are amazing. Elenthers kills it with that tribe. Um, I think it's a great way to get immersed in lore. It's a great way to meet people. If you don't know who they are, let me cough for a second and I'll tell you. So, the Faceless Merchants are a tribe that have this really cool setup. They got a legit base. As their name implies, they wear masks and they have a trade route. They have a list that has all these tribes on it, and that's their trade route. And they visit each one. They get a signature from the tribe and they trade stuff with them. So they carry these big backpacks full of goods. You can become a faceless merchant. Anyone can be a faceless merchant. You go up, you sign up on their list, and you get a route. And usually you get like a bodyguard with you too, so you don't have to wander alone. It's a great way to meet people. A lot of people are doing it this year. Probably the most faceless merchants I've ever seen. You make your own mask. A lot of them looked really, really cool. And I got a lot of cool stuff this year from faceless merchants. A lot of them are carrying really cool stuff. However, um, we were given a sign from the faceless merchants. I was given conflicting information. It's not their fault by any means, but there's a sign you're supposed to put out front. One person told me you put out the sign when you want the faceless merchants to come trade with you, and another person told me you put it out when you do not want them to arrive. So if it's an inopportune time, if you're on their trader, you put it out there, they know to pass you up. I'm still not certain which was which. However, we put it up once we were told that if you didn't want them to visit, you could put it up. So we did it during the windstorm to try to minimize complications. Many of the faceless merchants came by before that. A lot of them had some really cool stuff to trade. I still owe one of them a portrait, and if that is you, contact me. There were others, however, who seemed to have nothing to trade and just wanted a signature. A lot of them like straight up said like, I don't have anything. Other ones didn't offer to trade anything. We kind of had to pull it out of them. Maybe they were shy. I don't know. However, there was twice in a row that, and like I said, this doesn't reflect on the tribe. I know once somebody becomes a faceless merchant, their actions are their own. But holy shit, you guys learn some friggin' etiquette. We were like, I think I said directly, like, girl, learn to read a room. Because, like, the decon hut was in the middle of blowing away in the savage wind. It was like whipping around. Everybody was running outside of the camp, trying to hold on to the thing, keep it from flying away. And this faceless merchant just walks up and she just stands there. She doesn't offer to help. She doesn't like she doesn't like say like I'll come back at another time. She doesn't just get in there to help. She stands there behind me just awkwardly the whole time while we're like struggling to keep this thing from getting air and flying off. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, I need a signature. She just stands there and we're like, what? I was like, you need a signature? Like, we're kind of in the fucking middle of something right now. And she's like, okay, I'll wait. So the fucker waited. while we're struggling to put this fucking thing down. She's like tapping her foot, like I got better shit to do. Doesn't offer to help at all. And then eventually I was like, can you come back? Like, we're in the middle of something right now. And she's like, okay, yeah, I'll come back. So she leaves. And then we're at the wolves camp, and like their shit is blowing away, and like multiple people from other camps are there trying to get shit. You know, people are like usually really good about this stuff, like helping each other. So there was like multiple people trying to like help them with their structure. And again, a faceless merchant just shows up and just stands there and is like shouting like, I need a signature to like whoever will hear them so that they can leave and not be bothered. It's like, holy shit, kid, learn to read a fucking room. Like help her get out of the way. Your route can wait for a minute.
I will
Like, it's
fucking
fun.
pay anyone $25 to bring me the face of a faceless merchant. And I don't mean their mask. I don't give a fuck about that mask.
The funniest is when the one shows up and I'm like, I'm gonna put up the sign to tell them we don't want them at this moment because this is crazy. And one's like, hey, I'm a faceless merchant. And somebody in camp is like, can you fuck off for a minute? And she was actually a good sport. She's like, yeah, sure. Then she came back and we signed her stuff. She gave me a cool pin. Like, she was a good sport about it. The other one was kind of like snarky and just like, I need a signature.
But wasn't I the one that told him to fuck off for a minute?
Can you fuck off for it and come back? Like, she was really cool. And she participated in a video that unfortunately didn't turn out that great because we shot like a hostage video with her. But like it didn't turn out that great. It was kind of out of frame. She was pretty cool. But the other one was a straight up asshole. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck? Like, come on.
I remember
the fact that I was like, can you come? Go ahead.
I was gonna just say, like, the sandstorm was blowing. We're all in there, like, dying miserably. And, like, we hear at the door, faceless merchants, can we come in? Fuck off. Go away. Not if you want
I
to
just remember. I remember Lita came by and I was like, if you're a goddamn faceless merchant right now, I swear to God. I was like trying to repair my like ripped pants. I was like, if this is another fucking faceless merchant, I'm gonna lose my shit right now. Like, kudos to them for being out in like the craziest storm. But like, you know, if you see like somebody physically being lifted off the ground holding onto a shade structure, maybe don't just stand by waiting for your fucking signature.
They were like the fucking Preston Garvey of this event. A settlement is under attack. Like, God damn it. I just did this 5 minutes ago.
You're like getting whipped around by the wind. Like,
so I have a story regarding that whole like sandstorm that I lost my shit in. But in order for me to tell this story, I must go make a gin and tonic. So I'll be back in a moment.
absolutely. I'll share a little bit of lore about the faceless merchants. So, fun fact, in the video, which I don't know if I'm gonna be able to post the hostage video, the lore behind the faceless merchants is really cool. And I do suggest if you want to meet people, you should become a faceless merchant because you will meet a ton of people and you'll trade a lot of really cool stuff. It's a great way to get involved in lore stuff. They look very cool. Seeing their ghostly appearance wandering around the desert is really neat. Their masks are all different, so you don't have to worry about all looking the same or, you know, killing your individuality. But that being said, the lore behind the faceless merchants is they have like a god that's called like the god with no face or something, but they're traders, and as the legend goes, that if you kill a faceless merchant, you get cursed. They have muscle with them that protects them as they travel around, but there's this interesting lore around like if you kill a faceless merchant, you'll be cursed. And I really like that. And I kind of want to talk to Alinthus if maybe we could play with that. Because there's actually not a lot of people who threaten the faceless merchants. And it might be an interesting element to the game if you actually do face threats of maybe somebody putting a bounty on faceless merchants. So I really want to talk to them about that and see if we can work something out, because that could be really cool as long as everybody's cool that's participating. Rodent says no visitors on a chain. Yeah, I noticed somebody in their camp had a chain going across the entryway, which was smart. A lot of people would put it right in the entryway. Unfortunately, the sign that we had was very large. It was a really big street sign that said no visitors. And I was dumb and I didn't attach a back to it or anything to stand it up with. So next year, there'll definitely be a change to that so that it is made more clear when you are welcome to come in. That being said, if you are near the Death Caps camp and you need some kind of assistance or you don't feel good, you need a place to rest, please don't hesitate to come in. If it's absolutely an emergency like that. I'm not going to turn you away like, hey, I need to have my private time if you're not feeling good or you need help. So we take stuff like that very seriously. Rodent says, I think wind like that brings the community closer together, helping release down guidelines, but also literally hunkering down close together, chattering, commiserating. Chatting and commiserating, not chattering. Yeah, I actually met some friends this year doing that. It's a good way, having the open camp like that and having people with the ability to come in and out and hunkering down is a great way to bond. There's friends that we made in the Great Duster in 2016 that are still friends today. And the temper tent is pretty comfortable in those situations. So I got a chance to be forced to hunker down and talk to some people that I don't get to have long conversations with normally. So that was actually pretty cool. I did get a little sick on Saturday. I was pretty beat down from the weather and stuff, and I drank too much. I'm not gonna lie. I think I had alcohol poisoning. I did not feel good, and I went to go take a nap and woke up and it was nighttime, which was sorely needed. But I did miss out on being a part of the group photo for the first time in 7 years. That was a little bit of a disappointment, but I needed it, and it kept me refueled from when I went wandering later that night. Oh, you're back.
Hello, Tay. How you doing?
What's up? You got your gin and tonic?
Yes, but I have a terrible unrelated tale to tell you before we get into business.
All right, let's do
So
this.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my drink, but first I gotta take a giant piss. So I
I
go
do
into the
too, but I'm just gonna
bedroom.
hold it.
You can go afterwards. I bust into the bedroom to go use the bathroom down the hall, and like
Mhm.
Kristen is completely passed out on the bed. And I see what she's watching, and it's like one of those horrible like YouTube original movies, and it's like Logan Paul is sitting there shoving a whole diarrhea-filled asshole down his goddamn mouth like an animal. Fucking terrible taste in movies.
Logan Paul, he's still alive.
Unfortunately, so I was gonna get a gin and
What a
tonic
fucker.
with some pineapple juice mixed in, but it put me in such a bad mood that
Mm,
now I'm just gonna have gin and nothing else.
perfect. Cheers.
Yeah.
Remember
Anyways,
that
you
night I
wanna?
had a whole remember I was gonna say, remember that night I had, as you described, a mini bar in my backpack when we went to the VIP room?
No, I don't actually remember saying that.
For some reason, in a stroke of genius, as I already had alcohol poisoning, I was carrying a bottle of absinthe and lime juice in my backpack. So when we were at camp and when we were leaving, I was pouring people drinks and mixing them in their cups. And while we were sitting there, you're like, what the fuck? Why do you have a goddamn mini bar in your bag? And then I accidentally, when I forgot, before you got there, I was mixing it for people and I accidentally squirted myself in the eye with lime juice. And it was excruciating. And I still have like a red spot in my eyeball from it.
Fucking Taylor, I've always told you to roll high. This is what you do to
Bo-
yourself.
Boy, did that put me in a foul mood. Anyway, tell your tale.
Before I get into that, I want to comment on the whole drinking situation. I was watching the podcast that we did before this, the stream, and
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, I'm not much of a drinker. Before I came to Wasteland,
Shut up.
and I just like cut to you vomiting behind a fucking portal.
I threw up so much this year. I've never thrown up at Wasteland. I went from never throwing up to throwing up like 6 out of the 7 days I was there. It was absolutely terrible. Don't start drinking, you guys.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the opposite for me. Before Wasteland, I would just drink like a goddamn fish, and I had no limitations.
And now look what happened.
That's why we have the story of the four locos and the 4 bottles of wine in one night.
Ew, are you serious?
Dude, I've done some fucking trailer trash shit back in the day. All right,
How many Four Locos?
four locos followed by 4 bottles of red wine.
How the fuck are you alive?
I have no clue.
Well, I need to take a piss. Is there a story you can tell while I'm gone for a minute?
Yeah, I can go into my wacky story. It's kind of just a retelling of the full faceless merchant ordeal.
We could also talk about the various places we procured alcohol this year.
Okay, I'll go into the faceless merchant one because it's just a retelling.
I'll be right back.
Have fun.
I will. I'm gonna take a fat piss.
Hell yeah. Take one for the team. All right, hello guys. Now that your fucking mother is gone, I don't want to hear a goddamn word out of your fucking mouth until she gets back. Okay. So pretty much my like perspective of the whole like faceless merchant ordeal. I'm like we're out at the front of the camp. The fucking windstorm is blowing hard, and my entire D content is getting destroyed. And like this entire event, I had to like micromanage it and make sure like it's properly bolted in and the stakes are down. And I was already annoyed by that. So TJ comes over like goddamn Woody, and he's like, "Hey Buzz, you should go check out the fucking D content. It's getting fucking ripped to shreds." And I'm like, "Fuck it, just let it get destroyed. I don't even give a fuck anymore." But me being fucking dumb, I go out to check it out anyways, right? And this thing is just blowing apart left and right. People are screaming. It's fucking terrible. So I come out there and I start trying to fix the problem, and the rest of my tribe like decides to jump in too. So we're trying to get shit done, and very off in the distance, like it was very quiet at first, but I started hearing what sounded like circus music. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I kind of just brushed it off. I'm trying to fucking put this tent together. I'm trying to keep it down, and the circus music keeps coming back. And every time I hear it, it gets just a little bit louder and louder until it was so fucking loud I couldn't get it out of my fucking head. And then right there, walking right up to me, wearing 15-foot giant red clown fucking shoes, a whole goddamn yellow clown suit with white makeup and a red nose and a giant red afro are the fucking faceless merchants. And they're like, we need a signature for our route. And before I can even make a goddamn response, I'm squirted in the eye by their goddamn fake flower. That's some fucked up shit, isn't it? And yeah, like Taylor said, we were like, oh, if it isn't obvious, we're a little fucking busy. They didn't give a shit. They just kept doing their thing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
How much of that did you hear?
I got back and I heard some lie about goddamn clown shoes and fucking getting squirted in the face with a flower. What the fuck?
I was talking about the faceless merchants, dude. Like,
I don't think that's quite what occurred.
no, that is quite what occurred. Like, we're sitting there trying to get shit done, and very off in the distance, I'm hearing music, And it's very quiet and very slow at first. And it's like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I just kind of go back to doing what I'm doing, and it gets louder, faster.
And then they squirted you in the face.
And they came over. I fucking hear the squeak, boop, 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 and there they are, standing in
That
15
would be
foot
so
ducks.
cute.
No, it wouldn't. It would be the worst thing ever.
Yes, it would. I would love that.
No, you fucking wouldn't. You'd be, oh, that's so cute. And then when they buy you fucking 5 times later asking for your goddamn signature, you wouldn't fucking stand them. I know you.
Hey. Anyway, besmirching the faceless merchants.
God, I can't stand them. Terrible. Worst
Hey,
NPCs ever.
hey, it's a great way to get involved in the community. It's a great concept.
It's a
They
great
just
way
didn't
to
help
get
us when our
hunted
tent
down.
was getting.
It's a
I
great
got
way to
myself.
get turned into taxidermy.
Well, the lore says that if you kill a faceless merchant, you get cursed. So I guess we're getting cursed next
Aw,
year.
hell yeah. I'll get double cursed.
I made myself a disgusting drink here of red wine and Coke.
Oh, that's really good, actually.
It's okay. Um, oh, the plate, right? The places to drink. Yeah. So there's the Atomic Cafe, which is the main bar at Wasteland. It runs on donated booze. This year, we had the pleasure of being in conjunction with the Rabid Radstag Saloon. That's where Bushnak had his wedding. Um, it's the first year that it's pretty cool that you had your wedding there, and it was the first year that it was at Wasteland. I hear an echo. Is that on my end? Let me see if I can reduce this. Um, anyway, it was its first year there. It is a saloon. It's very cool. It is the brainchild of Mike Kemling, and Mike Kemling and pals brought that together this year. He worked extremely hard um, to build that saloon. It was absolutely beautiful, really fucking cool. Also runs on donated booze. I'm gonna put the link in the description in case you guys want to buy some pins to support the Rabid Rad Stag Saloon because it is very expensive to bring together. The gas alone that Mike had to buy in order to haul that thing back and forth was quite pricey. So if you want to help bring that together next year, it would be greatly appreciated. Um, that's the newest one. There's also the Sunken Norwegian, which is a speakeasy that has, I think it's mostly features mead. We found our way in there last year. I didn't go there this year, did you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I didn't make my way over. It is pretty cool. The Last Chance Casino also has drinks. This year I had the worst drink of my entire life there. Um,
Yeah,
it
their
was
drink
real bad.
recipe was actually warm Fanta soda, old orange peels from the bottom of a trash can, recycled butt sweat, and yeah, that's about it. And there you go. That's the exclusive LCC drink. Very delicious.
It
If
was
you just
real
want to
bad.
if you want to get a drink that just makes you hate yourself and question your existence, it's a perfect thing to add to your life.
That was the drink that I had. They did have good ones there. Do you remember the Skittles drink they used to have? That was really good.
No,
Um,
I
I don't
don't.
know if you don't? It was so good.
Maybe
I
they
like
should make
got the
that
worst.
instead of fucking expired cough medicine.
Whoa. You're getting savage.
I'm sorry, this
They do
gin
have good
really
drinks
makes me
there.
mad.
Oh, great. The drinks they have there are pretty good. The one that I got was extremely bad. They also have. Am I skipping other bars? The Wasted Saints at a bar. I did not have a drink there. I didn't even know they had one until this year. It was pretty cool looking.
You forgot
Um,
Zeke's.
Zeke's I was getting to because Zeke's is like our favorite place.
The Chug and Slug
um,
has really good drinks.
Oh yeah, the Chug and Slug, which is in the den. They did have very good drinks. Um, I only had one because by the time I drank it, boy oh boy, was I not in a good way. Um, but they had very good drinks. And right by the Chug and Slug is Uncle Zeke's Pit Stop. Probably my favorite. It's definitely my favorite bar in the Wasteland. One of my favorite camps. And they had a VIP pass system this year. Me and Bush got a couple of VIP passes. They were really cool. Um, I'll have to show them another video, but it's like an aluminum cog, and then it has their Z logo and it glows. It's really cool, really well done. We had those. Did we spend every night there?
Mostly every night, if not every night, in the VIP lounge at some point.
It was so comfy, you guys. They had giant couches. It was air conditioned in there, and the VIP passes got you in there at any time. So we spent like every night just chilling in there. The drinks were stronger in the VIP room. Uncle Zeke's Pit Stop, the main area, has really good drinks in general. They have a thing called antifreeze that's really good. Um, Probably my favorite drink at Wasteland. And then when you go into the VIP room, they have antifreeze, but it's much stronger. And they have a drink called wiper fluid, which is much stronger than that and very delicious. And it destroyed me. I thought I was going to die. Um, but the bartender there, that was there most nights, his name was Fish. Shout out to him. He was very cool. He was a really nice guy. Before I got completely trashed, I did a drawing of him. I'm glad I did that because after that, everything gets a little fuzzy. But he was a very responsible bartender. He kept forcing me to drink water, um, which is my only saving grace. Um, and they had dancers in there. The lighting was really cool. The whole setup inside the VIP room was really neat looking.
Yeah,
And
Taylor,
me
tell
and
me
Bush,
how cool the lighting was.
the lighting was pretty badass. It was all themed lighting. Kind of it was We talked about it when we were in there. It was dim but moody, so you could see everything. There's a lot of places at Wasteland that, since you're in the middle of the desert, it's camp lighting. There's a lot of spotlights and stuff that are really bright. Um, Things tend to be either too dark or too bright. Um, the bright spotlights are really unwelcoming, but it was very cozy in there. It was just perfect. What did you think of Uncle Zeke's Pit Stop VIP room, Bushnak?
So I saw that Amy from Uncle Zeke's posted a thread. Forgot on where, but they wanted to get some constructive criticism on what they could improve on this year. Now, I really did like Uncle Zeke's, but what I felt what it was missing this time around was an enclosed like ceiling or top.
I agree.
It didn't
Um,
have the entrance didn't have like the same amazement or wonder that it did for us when we first walked into it on its first year.
Yeah, you can see that in the last video posted, the 2018 part 2. Um Uncle Zeke's is obviously the enclosed area where they had the green lights flashing and stuff. Um it was much smaller than it was this year. This year it was way bigger, but like you said, there was no roof. It was kind of a big open space. Because of that, I felt like a lot of it was empty. It was a little too large. And yeah, I do think that the roof and the enclosed nature of it that it had before definitely made it feel very different. I did like their main setup, like the main Zeke's outside the VIP room better the year before. The VIP room, however, did have an enclosed roof and was very neat. But
Um,
the Zeke's Pits Up itself, I agree.
because they didn't have a roof, they didn't utilize those cool laser lights that were on the inside of it the year prior,
Hmm.
and I think that added
Which
a
was a
lot
big
to our
deal.
experience.
I feel like it also felt cozier because of that. When you have a roof on your camp like that, it feels more solid than just being in like a open air tent kind of thing. I don't know. It feels more immersive to me.
No, you're right. It does. Um, Despite that, like I guess that's my only real issue. If I were to really have that as an issue, it just felt more, you're right, immersive with that enclosed roof.
Yeah, it feels more like an actual building when you have stuff like that intact, less of just like a pop-up tent experience. They still killed it, and I feel like they just had a lot of space. They almost had too much space to work with.
Either way, Mark and his team do an amazing job on the whole experience for Uncle Zeke's. I will continue to support the tribe in whatever they do for their endeavors.
Absolutely, I would love to do some artwork for them. We Mark is a great guy. Everybody in their crew is really cool. I haven't had anything other than an amazing experience from them. And we just got a comment from Toxic War Pig, who says, "Hi, I found your channel from looking up tea staining tutorials and stayed for the Wasteland Weekend content. I've never been, but I've always curious about going. Well, thank you for coming to the channel. I hope you stay and you subscribe. You should definitely make it out to Wasteland. Um, this was a fantastic year, and it's too early really to have major speculation about the next year. But here's hoping that it's even better, so that when you go, you don't miss out on things like Uncle Zeke's, because that was Uncle Zeke's to me this year. I feel like shaped a lot of my experience. We had some of our I don't want to speak for you, but I had some of my best times there. And it's one of those things that's an unofficial place. That is just a camp of people. That is just a tribe bringing something to the table. It's not an official event by any means. And that is something that you could bring to the table if you have the right tribe, because you can build anything at Wasteland.
Toxic War Pig, I wanna hit you up here and say that if you're speculating about going and curious, I want to say turn that curiosity into action and try to come next year if possible. They just had their 10-year. They had a cryptid message kind of regarding the future of the event. We don't know how much longer it's going to be going or if it's going to be changing hands. I do have a reason to believe that this next year coming up will be very different. Um, and my pessimistic side tells me not to trust it entirely.
Hmm.
So I would say if you can come out next year, uh, just please come visit and enjoy yourself and really immerse yourself into the event before
Yeah,
you
don't wait
lose
if
the
you can
chance
help
to.
it. Yeah, Bush is right. If you can, don't wait, because this will probably not be around a lot. That breaks my heart to say, but it probably won't be around forever. Um, I wish that I would have started doing it earlier, um, like as early as possible, to be honest. Um, like I said, we started going in 2013. Before that, it was Road Warrior Weekend. It was much smaller. We came in during an interesting time in Wasteland history. But if I could have started coming earlier, I definitely would have. And every year you miss, you're missing out on things like the D's, which are not there anymore, because everything changes. It changes every single year. It's part of the appeal of it, because our experience, I feel like, is always different. It's growing, it's changing, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. And yeah, you do not want to miss out on that. Um, one of the things about Zeke's too that I guess was I feel like it was their first year last year with the setup they have now. Um, and that's another thing to consider, is that new things are always popping up like that. And I hope that stuff like I hope that Zeke's in particular is around, for years to come. And that's why it's important to support tribes like that by buying VIP passes, by buying merchandise and stuff like that. There's actually merchandise of the Den, which is the section that Uncle Zeke's is in, that you can buy to support them. And when you do stuff like that, that helps them justify bringing this camp stuff in, because it is not cheap. Even like our camp is pretty small in comparison to stuff like that, but it costs us a lot um just to bring the setup that we have. So if you like those kind of things and you want to support them, I really encourage you to do so.
Go ahead and check the private chat and bring that up if you want to talk about it.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I think let's save that for Friday because we might actually be able to do a whole chat on that.
Okay. Does that sound like a good
Uh,
idea though, or what do you think?
um, it does. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but we can talk about it in further detail on Friday or after
Definitely.
this. Um, also, I don't want anybody to steal that idea.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But that's another thing. You guys, if you have like a really cool, well, I don't know. Let's not get into that. But the den is a great section at Wasteland. If you think that your tribe fits into more of the seedier nature of post-apocalyptic, it would probably fit into the den because our good buddies, the pugs, are also in the den and they host boxing, which is really, really cool. Zeke's has the bar. The Chuck and Slug is another bar. Um, there was a tattoo parlor there called the Loki Pokey, which I thought was a cool name. Um, is it called the Loki Pokey? I might even be wrong. I think that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments.
I'm actually
Um,
pretty sure you're correct on that.
what it was is a fake tattoo bar where you can get like temporary tattoos. So I thought it was a really cool idea. However, apparently it was never open this year. Um, for some reason, people thought I was a part of that camp or something. Pig brought it up and someone else brought it up. I guess because different artists were doing stuff there, but I don't know if it was ever open. I just thought it was a cool idea. Um, Junktown is a part of the Den, who is like our family tribe, our sister tribe. Um, and there you can see we have videos on them on this channel where it's pretty much just the history of Junktown. There's a lot of really cool tribes there. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, that's one of those things that's just outside the city that is just a group of people bringing something. And it's really cool. And I hope that does not go away in the future because that's the stuff that makes Wasteland what it is for me.
So about this event, one thing that I personally committed to was definitely trying to get out and explore more. I think I actually like fulfilled that. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think we talked about it in our speculation thing too, that we were kind of trying to recapture our first year. Um, like that guy that we were talking about earlier poster where he's like, "Oh, I didn't meet anybody because I didn't leave camp." You gotta leave camp. Um, if you want to have an adventure, it's not gonna come to you sitting in the tent at the dust storm. You gotta go out and wander and even wander outside the city, wander around, meet people. Um, if you're kind of introverted like I am, get yourself a pal. I hung out with Bushnak. We walked around. We had quite an adventure till like, God, what, like 4 a.m.? The sun was starting to come up when we came back. Um, and that's like a memory that I'm gonna cherish forever. That's what like helped solidify this as one of my favorite wastelands. Was just us doing that. Um, I feel like we met a lot of people. We wandered around. I feel like we accurately recaptured that experience, which was really surreal because of how big the event has gotten. We went all the way out to the like Silent Death trailer area, just wandering around meeting people.
And
And I
even
thought that
even
was
then,
very
we
cool.
we couldn't explore it all.
Yeah, like I wish that we had been doing that every single night. Um, as a matter of fact, next year I would like to try to do that more. Um, the Wasteland City really does come alive at night. I feel like. Um, so if you're spending the day at Wasteland and it's really hot or it's really windy and you feel like you're missing out on something, just take a nap honestly and go out at night because a lot of stuff happens at night, if not a majority of stuff. So don't feel too bad about missing out on those daytime things. Definitely take a moment to go out during the day and stuff, but if that's not your cup of tea, you can have a whole adventure at night, trust me.
In fact, one thing I did want to make a point of is what do we do during the daytime and the morning, anyways?
All I feel like we really did, which that's a good thing to bring up. Here's the things that you can do during the day. You can take part in lore stuff, which some people really enjoy. I enjoy a little bit of it. I'm pretty light on the lore stuff because I don't like being out in the sun and doing all that stuff during the day. I don't like having the obligation. I hate to tell you this, but a lot of the lore stuff is pre-organized. It's not very spontaneous. You're basically kind of doing like a theatrical act in front of people. So it's a little choreographed. Um, you can do that during the day. And then what we mostly do, I feel like, is we go and wander Bartertown. Um, I actually did some trading in Bartertown this year, and that was really cool. I wouldn't mind doing that again. I had a lot of fun with that, and I got some really cool stuff. There was the Bartertown area because there's a shopping area that's called Bartertown, and there's like the real Bartertown, which is this little open space where people can bring their items and barter with each other. And the people that were bartering stuff were really cool this year. They brought some really cool stuff. Some of my favorite stuff I got from just sitting in that area for a little while. I didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but what I did, I got like some of my favorite things I've ever gotten. Um, Next year I would possibly like to do that during the day. And of course, you can buy different stuff at Bartertown, but I feel like that's mostly all I really did during the day. Like I feel like we did camp maintenance and Bartertown and eating food. What do you feel?
Before we get to that, I wanted to say, if you want, I can bring a pretty big table next year. I mean, you can share that table and get some stuff bartered out during the day.
I would be down if you are. I don't know if a table might be a pain in the ass to rack around, but maybe if we had like some minor shade thing and then like a blanket.
That
Because
could
if you
work.
be down, I'd be down for that.
We could bring a wagon to transport all that stuff, so it wouldn't be so bad.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. We should make like a little cart or something. Um, yeah, I would be down for that if you are, because we could get some really cool stuff there. I wouldn't mind just hanging out there. It might be better than hanging out at camp all day.
Definitely. Now, I don't mind hanging out at camp all day, but yes, a good chunk of our hangout there involved just camp repair and maintenance, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in particular this year we had to because of the storm. But I think naturally you kind of have to keep up appearances. Stuff gets it's a harsh environment out there. Um, but those are the main things really to do um
I
during the
think
day,
we
I feel
were
like.
I think we were kind of dealt a bit of a bad hand because in front of our camp, where everything was kind of displayed, we had really nothing to buffer the wind in front of us, so everything we had took the brunt of it. Unfortunately, we don't have giant, like large metal structures like the War Spawn camp or the Rabid Radstag Saloon, but even those guys took a beating.
Yeah, and they acted fast.
I think next time if we go ahead and camp within the city, I would like to camp more on the sidelines in the actual streets so we don't take so much of that damage.
Yeah, we were on a corner and there's a lot of open space in front of us, so when that thing hit us, it hit us really hard. Um the wolves as well because they had a similar situation. There wasn't a lot of buffer between them. Um
My idea that
the
we had,
food that
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I just wanted to touch on like our exploration stuff because I felt like honestly, like my personal favorite best nights that we had was us just kind of hanging out super late on both Friday and Saturday night.
Definitely.
I'm down to do that for the whole event, and I wanted to say that what do we do during the day anyways? Part of it's rest, right? So we can
Yeah,
probably
and
stay
that's
up super late and then sleep in, but it's kind of hard to sleep in with the heat. However, they have camp battery operated fans.
mm, we do need fans because I guess the major cutoff for sleeping I have found, I think we talked on the other videos about 8 a.m. Things heat up really fast and it's really hard to sleep in past 8 a.m. just because of how hot it gets in the tent. I would like to get a fan. I think it would make a huge difference. But yeah, it's if you go out late and you're planning on, you know, sleeping in, don't count on it because it's really difficult. But yeah, it would be cool just to we could stay out late like we were doing, and then maybe we could chill in Bartertown for a while with our stuff. Um, Depending on what responsibilities we have at camp and what we have to actually set up. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot we could do. We have a whole year to plan now, and I think that people's inspiration really strikes right after the event and right before. Um, so I'm trying not to lose that steam, and I'm trying to actually utilize this time better than I did this past year and slowly get stuff done over the course of the year as
Hmm.
opposed to rush it all out right before like I did this time. Um, Somehow we got the desert dollars done like a week before the event, and those
Somehow,
were a great
right?
success. If you guys don't know, desert dollars are the currency. They're the brainchild of Bushnak. We collaborated, I executed them artistically, and they were a new currency that was put out primarily using the den. Uh, you could buy physical items with them. There were several vendors that were accepting it. Um, and they were a huge hit. We are also planning on, and this is not like completely official. We have to still talk to some of the people in the den. We're planning on doing an auction next year that accepts only desert dollars. So if you have desert dollars from this past year, hang on to them because they are worth something. And the
And if
go-go
you
dancers
attend
love them.
Winter Games next year, we'll be putting out the 5 and 10 edition of the Desert Dollars out for attendees to collect and obtain.
Yeah, so stay tuned for those, and you can procure those at the Juggers of the Wasteland Winter Games. So keep an eye out for them. Um, and it's going to be pretty cool. Save that stuff for Wasteland 2020 because the more you get, we're going to have some really, really cool stuff up for auction that you can get using the desert dollars and only the desert dollars. Also, they're pretty friggin' cool looking.
Yeah, I kind of like. It was nice to see them kind of pop up everywhere, and I saw some people bring them up like for trade in Bartertown for other items. But I think I really like lost it like when I saw some girl behind the bar at Zeke's counting these dollars, and I thought she was counting real money. When I got closer, she was counting desert dollars like real cash, and then like recounting it to make sure it was correct.
There was a moment of paranoia I had where I paid somebody in desert dollars, and because they look like real dollars, we didn't make them like too. They're fun looking, but they don't look like Monopoly money. They're still green. They look pretty official actually, and the parchment that Bushnak had them printed on, it's like a thick. It feels like a cash parchment. Um, and I had grabbed them out of my backpack, and I thought that I had given people real money for a minute. I saw the one on there. I was like, "Oh no!" Like when I passed them over, I was like, "I just gave them all my money."
No,
Like, can I see those again to make sure I didn't just clean out my wallet?
it was
But that
kind
was a cool experience.
Willow had a dance from Junktown on the main stage, and then when we got back to the camp and we were like in our hemp get up, some guy comes up to Willow and I guess he did a task or a job for her, and he was like, "So do I get my pay?" And like she kind of just looks at him and like nods her head, and she like goes into a bag and she pulls out a wad of desert dollars, counts out the amount, and hands it to him. And he's like,
Hell
"Fuck
yeah.
yeah!" He like did this like fist pump thing with both hands. He's like, "Yeah!" And then he just walked away with the money. But the way she pulled him out
Desert
and like
dollars,
counted it out was it was great to see.
they were really sought after, and rightly fucking so. But we got those things done like at the last minute. Um and people were like asking for them like before they were distributed to certain parties. Like people kept asking about them. They were pretty eager. It was really cool.
I've
One
actually
thing that
passed
was
out every dollar except one I'm keeping for novelty.
really I still have like 4.
Yeah, I got rid of all of them from my end.
One thing I need to make more of, that I that was a big success this year as well, was the, thank God, the Bardic Inspiration tokens. Um, I was only able to make 100 this year, and really I should have made closer to like 300 because they were gone by day 2, and they really easily could have been gone by day 1, but I was being a little stingy with them on day 1 because there are certain people I really wanted to hand them off to.
Hmm.
And they went incredibly fast. And people have been telling me really nice stories about the Bardic Inspiration tokens. If you don't know what they are, um, they were these little metal coins that I gave to people who were shy or introverted, and they were supposed to boost their charisma so that they could do the thing, as people were putting it. Um, so I gave them all out to people. I got a really positive response to it. It made me really happy. I've heard a lot of really nice stories about them, but I really wish I would have made more because it really sucked on day 2 to have people come looking for them and me to have nothing to give them. Is a really shitty feeling. So by next year, I'm hoping to have way more to give out. I'm also going to try to make them bigger, and the other thing that we made was the MFP badges for TJ's deputy mission. And those are all gone right away, too. Um, if we're doing that mission again the next year, definitely make way more of those because we did not make enough. That also sucked to like turn people away. A lot of people thought they were for sale for some reason, or that they had to return them. You did not have to return them. And if you have one, don't feel bad like you like stole it or something. It's yours to keep. So we'll definitely make more of those. And the desert dollars, the next batch, we're going to have them stamped um as well. So don't even think about trying to make counterfeits, dog. We'll catch you and punish you.
Yeah, definitely. Like we'll do so much bad things like we can't even say them here on TV.
It's cray. Ew, why did I say cray? It's bad.
Well, Tay,
um,
well, Tay, you're pretty cray.
shut the hell up. Speaking
uh,
of cray, do you know where I'm going with this?
no, I don't actually.
There was a fucking Wasteland cryptid this year. Um, the motherfucking grilled cheese hut. As long as so there was two sources of food at Wasteland. There was the Dinky Dive and there was the Texas barbecue. Both are really good. The Texas barbecue was significantly cheaper than Dinky Dive. I feel like I ate there more often. Um, it was really good. The guy that ran it was really cool. And then Bushnak claims that there was a third called the Grilled Cheese Hut that I have never seen and refuse to believe is real. Would you care to describe the Grilled Cheese Hut, Bushnak?
Oh goodness, Taylor, so defensive about this. It's very unfortunate that you refuse to believe something so mundane.
If there's anybody in this chat right now that witnessed the Grilled Cheese Hut, you have to chime in. Everybody chime in when they watch this, whether they think it's bullshit or if they think it's real. And if it's real, you better have some kind of evidence backing it up.
All right, you know what? I will. Give me just 1 second. I'm about to refill some gin.
I want to hear this and see the consistency of your story because I have you recorded during your first description of the grilled cheese hut. The grilled cheese hut that I could find nowhere, and I wandered around like a fucking imbecile. And I asked people about it. No, you what the fuck I was talking about.
How many people did you ask about
I'm not telling you that so you can laugh at me.
it?
But it was multiple, and both of them both didn't seem to know what the fuck I was talking about. So I gave up looking for it. And then multiple people showed up at camp describing the grilled cheese hut. So I know you fucking got to them and it's not real.
Jeez, like that's terrible. All right, so check it
The
out.
only Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna explain this grilled cheese hut, and it's like, actually not that special. Well, I think they're pretty special because they're delicious. But the grilled cheese hut is a tribe that runs a small establishment. I want to say if you go down like in Tent City, it's down Main Street. It was kind of towards the end on the right, maybe a block or two down from the Goat Head Tribe. Now, this particular place was kind of set up like a 40s, 50s, like Fallout-ish kind of a diner. It kind of had that look to it. When you went inside, it had like a Vault Boy posters, and like they had props for like the Blamco mac and cheese, and like the various other products you would see within the Fallout universe. Now, when I got there, I asked him, "Hey, this place is awesome. Why isn't this place within the city?" And according to him, it had something to do with the fact that he had like all this Fallout memorabilia set up, like the Blamco stuff, all the Vault Boys he had. Apparently, I guess that didn't jive with event staff. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure how much of that is legit. Someone can back me up here. Hit me up with that. Like I know they had a Red Rocket over in the main city, but they didn't have any like the robots or any of the crazy stuff you would see within the Fallout universe. Maybe it has something to do with that. But anyways, this place sold a delicious grilled cheese sandwich as their primary menu option. It was about $7, and you can get it in American, Swiss, or pepper jack. Now they also had a secondary food option, and it was like a cups of soup, and a cup of soup could run you about, I want to say, $4 or $5, and they had the broccoli and cheese and tomato soup options. I didn't try the tomato, but the broccoli and cheese was to die for. Now,
Bullshit.
now I know what I said makes complete sense, and I had another tribe member, Cody, actually bring up the fact that you can see all this crazy bullshit within this event. Yet she chooses the harmless grilled cheese as the one thing to not exist.
I fucking looked for it. It's not there. This is like some fucking wasteland cryptid. There was okay, and then he claims the guy's name is fucking Smitty that ran the place is like the most default made up fucking name. The only thing the the only thing that gave it any credence and it blew my fucking mind was he was talking about this goddamn grilled cheese hut, and I knew it for a fact. I'm like, it's full of shit. He's fucking with me. And then all of a sudden I walk up at the den and him and his wife are sitting there and he's holding a fucking grilled cheese, but it's not just like a camp made grilled cheese. It was wrapped in foil and it was on like a little white platter thing. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I remember you just rolled your eyes. You're like, it's a grilled cheese from the Grilled Cheese Hut.
I even gave you a bite.
I know. But and then his wife, who is a horrible liar, like she cannot fake anything, like just flatly says she's like, yeah, it's from the Grilled Cheese Hut. And I was like, maybe he's not full of shit. Like, but I never found it. There's things that don't fucking add up about this goddamn thing. It's called the Grilled Cheese Hut, but it's a fucking diner. Why isn't it? Why the hut?
Why does that bug you in particular?
Because why the fuck would they call it the Grilled Cheese Hut?
All right.
And then like they had who has fucking broccoli and cheese soup with a cheese sandwich? What kind of fucking sociopath would eat that?
Me!
Fucking cheese on cheese.
Hell yeah.
That was the only grilled cheese I saw all weekend.
Well, they said the broccoli and cheese was kind of like their keto option for people that wanted cheese but didn't want the bread.
You've really fucking thought this out. You're not going to give this thing up.
How can I give up something that I didn't make up to begin with?
I've seen no fucking pictures of this thing. And then there was one particular night. I'm like, you need to prove me this is real. So one of our tribe mates is like, okay, we'll go get one right now. So him and Bush leave, and they come back without a grilled cheese because that just happened to be the night that he ran out or some shit.
It was Saturday night. And they had a BOGO option, like buy one, get one free. Because they didn't want to come back with extra food, or else it would be a loss on their part.
You guys were like probably wandering Tent City trying to find someone who could make a fucking grilled cheese sandwich.
What? No.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
I don't know
I
why you're
need to know
that.
because it's a fucking mystery and it's driving me insane. And if it wasn't real, I look like a fucking idiot wandering the goddamn desert, asking strangers if they know where the grilled cheese hut is. It's not even fucking real.
So I want to be able to correct some of the claims that were made. Now, to my understanding, a Smitty's Fine Establishment is a previous business before it came to Wasteland. So wherever it was called the Grilled Cheese Hut, its name might have fit more what it was before it came to the event.
What?
Like it might be like an actual restaurant somewhere. I don't fucking know. I didn't look it up, but
Just a fucking grilled cheese hut. A Fallout themed diner that only serves fucking grilled cheese, a food item you can't eat in Fallout.
Why are you over analyzing this whole thing?
This fucking macaroni and cheese Blamco ads, and they don't serve mac and cheese, they serve fucking grilled cheese.
You know,
It's probably the
Smitty,
vegetarian option at the fucking Texas barbecue.
they don't have grilled cheese there.
Oh my god.
Like
It's a fucking wasteland cryptid.
I saw like the look in your face and your eyes too when I was like unwrapping the foil from the sandwich. I'm sitting there and you're telling me some story. And I'm like, I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna fucking eat this before it gets cold. I start unwrapping it and you're like, it smells good. Like, what is it? Or some shit like that. And I'm like, grilled cheese from the Grilled Cheese Hut.
It was the way you said it that like you rolled your eyes like the grilled cheese hut. Oh my, we have to get to the bottom of this.
All right, let me ask you this: why do you think I would lie about something so simple and mundane? Don't you think?
Because you're fucking with me. Why else?
You have no reason to believe I'd be fucking with you about something like this.
Except that I couldn't find the fucking grilled cheese hut.
Well, maybe you just gotta look better. You have to think about that.
I followed your stupid vague directions.
They had their bottle cap on the map on the fucking announcement board.
Where the fuck? If somebody can show me a picture of this fucking bottle cap, proof that there's a grilled cheese hut. Fucking Smitty, really?
He kind of looked like that Oakenshield guy we saw at the fucking VIP room at Zeke's.
Now it's getting more elaborate.
But then we went with Mullins, and then he came out. Smitty comes out from behind the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, it's the Silver Shroud."
What the fuck accent is that?
I don't know. I'm just giving him a voice. Oh my!
Oh my goodness!
It's the Silver Shroud. And he was so impressed by Mullins' costume that he gave us a voucher for a free sandwich. It was really kind of him.
Everybody in the comments needs to weigh in on whether this is total bullshit or not.
Oh, geez. I don't
if
know why.
somebody has if somebody has proof of the grilled cheese hut, I will give them 10 desert dollars
Oh, man.
on
They're
the
all gonna
spot. That
Anyway,
was like
if someone has a picture of the announcement board by the Forlorn Express,
oh, why not a picture of the grilled cheese hut itself since it's so distinctive looking like a diner?
there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Hell, Ghoulcrest is out there.
That's true. Somewhere near the grilled cheese hut, as you claimed.
I never claimed it was by Ghoulcrest. It's by Goathead Tribe.
That's down the same row.
Listen, Taylor, sometimes you just gotta believe, right?
I guess.
I offered to take you. You didn't want to go.
Well, I'm glad I didn't because that was the night that apparently they ran out of cheese or some bullshit.
So what if we took you and it was right then and there? Would it piss you off because you couldn't get the cheese, or would you be relieved to know it was real?
I don't know. The state machine said I had a grilled. Wait, I had. Wait a minute. I had grilled cheese at Ghoulcrest. It couldn't have been from Ghoulcrest though, because they don't have ties, so they couldn't get in. I don't know whence it. Oh, this is getting more complicated. I don't know from whence it came, but it was real. Now you're all fucking with me.
I barely even talked to Fahrenheit. How would he be trolling you by helping me? He wouldn't.
Oh my god. It's like I'm taking fucking crazy pills.
Now, it would be logical to say that because I know you were like, well, there was no one walking around with the city with grilled cheeses. True, but I didn't know you could get turkey legs at the freaking Texas smokehouse place until it was offered as a menu item.
Here's the thing. The debate isn't whether you can get grilled cheese. The debate is whether there is a grilled cheese hut with a man named Smitty. Ooh, would I lie, says Fahrenheit. No, he wouldn't. This is so complicated.
So
My hair is gonna turn gray from this stupid ass fucking thing.
if Goldcrest is out in the middle of Tent City somewhere, along with the grilled cheese hut, wouldn't it make sense for the Goldcrest members and their tribe to get food primarily from there?
You're gonna find my body with like scrolled in blood. It's just gonna say grilled cheese hut.
Just little cuts everywhere that just form that.
Toxic War Pig says, no grilled cheese in Fallout, but they'd had mods. Somebody needs to make a mod where the grilled cheese hut exists in Fallout.
I gave what's his name, Smitty, my Facebook. He says they're gonna start selling grilled cheese hut like patches and T-shirts and stuff.
Is this
So
gonna be a lie that just continues till next fucking year?
no, not at all.
I can hear the smile in your voice.
I'm not smiling right now.
So what's their logo? What does it look like? Since you saw the cap on the wall.
I have a cap actually. I can bring it to you Friday.
You have a cap?
Yeah, they gave me a cap when I bought the sandwich.
Bring it to me.
Okay,
We're continuing this then.
but it's like a grilled cheese sandwich being separated with the cheese in the middle, and then at the top of the cap, it's like a old west kind of a saloon wooden type of sign that says grilled cheese hut.
Oh my god. Why are you doing this?
Doing what?
Oh my god. I need the grilled cheese hut people to like pipe up and claim themselves and explain this.
When we told freaking Smitty that we had a friend that didn't believe he was even real, he was like legit sad. And like he's like trying to make things work and he's like, let me check for supplies because I can't believe she thinks I'm fake.
Oh, I still think he's fake.
That's fucked up, dude.
That bite of that grilled cheese is really good. Whoever was responsible knew their craft.
Smitty is pretty skilled.
Fucking Smitty of all the names.
What do you mean of all the names? There's no one else called Smitty at Wasteland.
uh, anyway.
Taylor.
Everybody's gonna have their fucking grilled cheese hut patches to fuck with me next year.
No, of course not. Why would we do that?
To drive me further to the brink of insanity.
All right.
The thing that fucked with me the most was almost Patton walking through and just like being super deadpan. And I was like, is there a grilled cheese hut? And he goes, the one that Smitty runs?
What?
I know you got to him.
How did I get to him? You
I
know
don't
how
know,
much
but I'm
you aggravated me this year.
I don't know. I'm getting to the bottom of this.
So he walked in and you just decided to just ask him about the grilled cheese hut.
Yes, I have it on video. I was, no pun intended, grilling everybody from hemp about the grilled cheese hut.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, moving on from the fucking grilled cheese hut.
Hey, you brought it up.
Because I'm gonna have a whole video showing my descent into insanity as I rant about that shit.
So my brother shot some video inside our temper tent when Hemp showed up, and he was showing like how Bryce is getting the bomb to work that he made.
That thing was really cool.
And then in the background of the video, I can clearly hear you say, "They better not fucking come back with some grilled cheese."
By then, I was at my fucking wits' end about this shit. Fucking humiliated myself asking about it. Anyway, putting aside the grilled cheese hut.
No,
what?
I'm
Say your
gonna
piece on this fucking.
I'm gonna bring up one more goddamn thing about it before we fucking move on.
All right, say your piece about this fucking thing.
Despite all your wandering around Intensity, I can't believe you couldn't find the fucking diner.
Yeah. Isn't that strange?
Were you wearing your glasses?
No, I wasn't. I was going based on the trust of a friend. One last thing. Yes, it was. Okay, was there anything you missed this year or feel that you missed out on this year that you regret?
Yeah, Three Teeth in concert.
That's one of mine. I don't feel too bad about it because I still had a good time despite not seeing them. Bush and I partook a little much, and were not able to make their show. I wish I would have like actually gotten up and made my way over, but shit happens. I have 3, well 4, I guess. I have that. The other one is I wish I would have taken time to watch the Gladiators fight this year.
Ooh, that too.
I watch them every year, and this is the first one that I missed out on. I haven't even seen any footage from it, so I like really kind of regret it. Um, the other one is my major one. It sounds really silly, but like it's actually kind of like really bumming me out as I'm going through footage. Um, I didn't take a lot of photos this year. I took a lot of video footage, but I didn't take a lot of photos because I set aside Saturday to be the day I was going to wander around during the day and take photos. Dust storm came in. I felt really sick because I had overindulged the night before, so I didn't get to take any photos. In doing so, I got like the worst photos I've ever gotten. So I'm really disappointed in myself for not setting time aside to do that. But worst of all, I didn't take any selfies of myself with my friends, and I didn't take any photos with TJ. And there's not a lot of photos of he and I together in general. And I feel really, really bad about that. Like, genuinely bad that there's no pictures of us together. Because I wanted to organize a photographer this year, take pictures of he and I together, take pictures of the tribe. And it just didn't happen. Um, it makes me really sad. Like, there's not even really any pictures of you and I together. Um, and like I said this year, I'm like, I really want to take pictures. Like, there's people we only see once a year, like Wild Mule, um, Andy, and I didn't have pictures with any of them, which really sucks. Like, there's no pictures of us together. We're like such good friends.
Yeah, we got one picture in the den, but that's only because Mullins took it for us.
And it's not even a great picture. Like, that's the only picture of like us together. Um, so next year, I for sure want to set aside a small time slot with a photographer to take pictures of the tribe together because we haven't had a tribe group picture in 2 years. Um, we have that one that I keep on my wall that you had printed up, or I would never even have it. And I keep that on my wall, and I really, really treasure it. Um, but I really, really next year, maybe even at the Winter Games, we can get a group picture of us all in our gear and stuff. I think that would be nice.
Did I give you
Um,
a copy of the other trap picture we have where I think Tim was in it?
I don't think so.
I'll
I
send
don't
you a
think I have that
picture of
one.
the picture. If so, I got a copy that I can give to you.
I would love that. But yeah, like I think at the Winter Games we should take a moment to take pictures with our friends and stuff. It sounds really tacky, like, oh, I missed out on like taking selfies, but like these are people we see once a year. And when you reflect back on these things, like I always regret like I have, this is not to get too dark, but like I have like friends in my life that I really loved and lost, and there's like no pictures of us together. And I don't want that to happen again because you never know what's going to happen. And especially like TJ and I have been together for 10 years and there's no real pictures of us together in Wasteland stuff. Um, so I definitely want to fix that at the Winter Games.
I think at the time you were probably napping because you were sick, but right at the what were you doing when they had the picture for the group photo for the
I was
wasteland?
just, yeah, I passed out because I didn't feel good. And that's the first group photo I haven't been in.
Yeah, because we all suited up, including Tyler. He got in his entire rig, and then we went out there to do photos. And then Chris actually got some pictures of the individual tribe members together. He set up his camera, and we did some shots, me and Mullins, by the camp. I got a really cool photo right under the camp flag doing a salute in my getup.
If you
Um,
could send that, that'd be great.
yeah, he's getting his camera stuff worked out. Apparently, like over the weekend, I guess our dad somehow like fucked the computer he had up, so he has to get everything fixed
Oh
before he
no.
transfers the pictures. But my brother got a lot of good ones. I'll be sure to send those over in the group chat once they're all published.
Thank you. I would greatly appreciate that.
And
And
I'm
definitely at the
gonna
Winter
try to get a
Games.
yeah, I want to get a camera as well too, something kind of basic, and I do want to get more photos of us. I was bummed out I didn't take like any photos at all. It's like it sucks because I keep saying I want to go techless. I want to go techless. I don't want to deal with my phone, Facebook, or notifications of any kind, which is why I need to just
Hmm.
invest in getting a pretty decent camera So my only thing I can do with that camera is take shots. If I have a phone, I'm going to be tempted to check bullshit. And it's like
And
I told my brother. I was like, he's like, oh, what about Star Wars? I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about Star Wars.
yeah, and I really enjoyed that about this year. Like this was the first year I left my phone at camp. It was really nice to go techless, and it's a really nice experience, you guys. Like a really nice immersive experience that kind of like reprograms you to not have your phone on you, not have the temptation to look at social media all the time and stuff like that. And I don't regret doing that, but the downside was that I primarily take photos on my phone, as pretty much everybody does. And because of that, I didn't have any selfies. I didn't have any pictures with my friends. I didn't have really any pictures of camp. I was fully reliant on my film camera, and that doesn't take great nighttime photos. It doesn't take great, like, I'm not really composing the photos, I'm composing it for filming, not for taking photos. So I really, really fucking regret that. Like, I'm actually genuinely like angry at myself for not taking an up-to-date picture of my costume and not having a picture of me and TJ together. Because if some dumb shit happens and I die prematurely, the latest picture of he and I together is gonna be from like 5 years ago when I looked like a total goof, which sucks. Um, so yeah, like if you value taking photos and stuff, don't wait to do that like I did, because boy, it really sucks. That's my biggest regret.
Yeah, even if you can bring a fucking disposable camera with you, print some pictures out later, anything to get some pictures down if you want to go techless.
Yeah, and I do recommend going techless. I thought that that was a really cool experience. I really liked that. I had my camera on me, um, but I didn't. I had it like clipped onto my backpack and stuff most of the time. But it's so much better than having your phone. Like if it wasn't for absolute emergencies, like I would like put a camp rule of like no fucking technology stuff. We do have basically a rule of not talking about the outside world while we're there, just because it gets annoying to hear about like social media while you're hanging out at the event. Um, I don't know. Personally, I find it kind of annoying for people to be like, "Did you hear about what happened on my Discord?" And it's like, I don't give a fuck about your Discord. This is the only week of the year I get to live out this fucking fantasy. Like, you paid good money to be here. You can talk about that any fucking time.
Oh goodness. Sorry, I'm looking at. I have an envelope literally right here on my desk, showcasing a lot of like Wasteland group photos that I actually printed out as physical pictures, including our Oktoberfest group picture and our World War OC group picture, where we edited that barrel in front of Bond.
Yeah, I think it's weird like the day and age we live in now too, cuz people don't really print pictures anymore. And like I said, that picture that you gave me, which was like our most up to date full tribe photo, unfortunately, it's like 2 years old. Um, it's a really nice photo, but it's out of date. My costume is totally different. I do like my costume in that though. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is people don't really print photos anymore, and I really love that thing. Like I have it on my wall. I look at it all the time, and it's when people take I feel like people take more photos than they ever have in their life, but they don't print them. So if something happens, all that stuff is gone. You know what I mean? Like you don't have like a physical copy. So like if it gets wiped, it's completely gone. Um I know it's a shitty thought, but like it's nice to have those tangible things, and I really wish I fucking had that this year. It makes me so mad. There's nothing I can do now, obviously, but take the time to do that, and take the time to take photos with like your friends and stuff, because you will meet people at Wasteland if you're open to it. You have to be open to it. You can't stay at camp and not do anything and then wonder why you have no friends. But spend time with those people and take photos with them, because you'll meet people from other states, from other countries, and you'll probably only see them at these events. And definitely take the time to do that. Not to get too, you know.
It's true though. Like, I'm really glad I actually printed out all these wasteland photos. I just recently got a new phone recently, and all that stuff is gone. Like, it's all on my Facebook still, because I uploaded it there. But I gotta go dig through that and get more photos printed. I think we should take the initiative to just take more photos together. Uh,
Yeah, we really there's
this
like no
year,
photos of us together.
we only have a couple. We have one from that Wastelanders bar meetup. We have one that we had on top of the mountain overlooking the event. We only have a couple together.
I love that photo.
Wow, this has been a pretty really good chat that we have here for the video. I really do like it.
Yeah, it's I guess we'll close it out since it is getting late, but you said something at the event that I would like to bring up. That I thought was very well said, that something happens when you're at Wasteland. I think it's because they have like a no politics rule. You're pretty uninhibited. If you're unplugged, you're disconnected from all the social media bullshit. Um, you really get to know people based on their character, of who they are. You don't have the context of the real world to judge them by. You don't know their income. You don't know any religious background, any political background. You just kind of know them. You get to know them based on their character. And when you're at Wasteland, you get to know people. I'm trying not to get emotional. Um, they become the people that they're meant to be and the people they most genuinely are. So if people are shitty, it really shows, because like they show their true selves there. Or if they're good people in their heart, it really shows there. And I think you said it best when you said, like, when you're at Wasteland, like, you're who you're supposed to be. Um, we were walking, and it was a really interesting experience to think of, like, all the people gathered at Wasteland are gathered there based on this post-apocalyptic fantasy, which is a really interesting fantasy to have, because it's a fantasy based upon societal collapse and the collapse of everything that we know. Um, and it kind of brings everybody back to the basis of like what human beings are and what morality is and stuff. So all the people there have a fantasy based on society as we know it going away. Um, and that's a very interesting type of person. I think it's a very particular type of creative person. Um, I think it's sort of finding a positive outlook on a very nihilistic view, if that makes sense. Um, and if you're open to embracing that, you'll be the person that you're meant to be while you're at Wasteland. It can't always carry over into the real world, unfortunately, because you're tied up in all this bullshit of surviving. Um, but it's a really fulfilling experience. It's a lot more than just a festival in the desert.
I just can't believe how good of a time we actually had.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was this sounds really exaggerative, but I truly mean it. And that's why I'm so mad about like not taking pictures and capturing it. It was like, to me right now, as I'm reflecting on it and it's still fresh, it was not only like the best wasteland I've ever had, it's one of like the best weeks I've had in my life. I know that sounds silly, but it really was.
Nah, it doesn't sound silly. Like, with everything that's been going on, our little rough patches we had before the event, it's exactly what we needed.
And I can't wait for next year. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we close this off?
Yeah, I do actually. One last bit. If you fucking get out there, just take a moment to wander in Tent City and just look up at the stars.
Yeah, I cannot recommend that enough.
Preferably somewhat intoxicated because it helps you think.
It helps you get a little uninhibited. Um, yeah, highly recommended to take a moment and just look up and wander out there where it feels like there's nothing, because you might find something that you didn't expect. All right, so we've been going for almost 3 hours now, thanks to there's two late night people that are still with us. um, thanks for hanging on and listening to us chat. And there will be more videos soon regarding Wasteland Weekend 2019. It was a beautiful wasteland this time around. And chime in if you believe in the grilled cheese hut or if you know that Bushnak's full of shit. Goodbye, everybody.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Love you guys, and we'll be talking about winter games pretty soon here.
Oh, and if you'd like to hear me and Bushnak talk exclusively on a channel, we have a joint channel together called Geist and Gore. The link is in the description. We're going to be starting up again very soon. We talk about conspiracy theory stuff. If you're interested in some weird stuff and seeing our further adventures, maybe outside of Wasteland, that is the place to subscribe. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you very soon. Stay weird.
Bye!